The train headed for Sunset City will be departing soon.
And that concludes our meeting on why we need to refrain from using slurs in our podcast. The notes will be available on our Google Drive, so if you guys want to check out the new policies we have in place, you know where to look. All in agreement?
I
people.
I don't think I actually can be.
Wayne, you as well?
Oh, yeah, shoot. Sorry, I didn't know we were starting. I've been busy watching a video of baby seals getting clubbed.
With all that horror...
So it's like an average episode of Sunset City. Got it.
With all that horror aside, hello everybody. Didn't see you there. And welcome to Sunset City, the podcast for the classic modern age. Classic and
the
modern
classic
age.
modern age.
We're doing an episode about Sonic and Knuckles, and he forgot the word "and." Seriously,
This isn't the Sonic Generations episode, dude.
Let's remember that we're only permitted a certain amount of ands in an episode. So, joining me today is on the far right, in many ways, Wayne.
Wayne's a conservative.
What's up, man? How's it going?
And slightly right of center is Suris.
Hello, everyone. I would like fascism.
Okay, thank you for that. And slightly on the left, a little bit progressive here, is Nick.
I'm an eco-terrorist.
And then me, who is literally Antifa, Channel Pup. All right, now I've done that. Okay, I'll be taking my $5 now.
Yeah, that's
I need to figure out
Fuck
why
off.
I have a slur. I keep reading slurs everywhere. Like I almost said a slurry voice.
What?
No, I've just the tickle in the back of my throat that just started happening. Like we all just had breakfast. We had a great time, and then like for the last 15 minutes, it's just been like tickle throat.
Oh, that's
driving
just
me nuts.
That's just me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when we meet in person, I'm gonna tickle your throat, dude. I'm gonna be like, open wide.
What does that mean, man?
Dude, it's all wet in here. Ew.
Oh my god.
Why is there a whole live chicken in here? Oh my god.
Why is Nick's throat like Hadrosity?
So how have you boys been?
Well,
I mean, I was doing good until like maybe 2 minutes ago.
I was doing fine up until the point where I woke up and realized, oh, right, I have to go run to McDonald's.
It all started when I was born.
I'm glad we're buddies.
That McDonald's shit was Man, that really just wrecked everything in the morning, which is very fitting considering what McDonald's did to this game we're talking about today.
Oh shit, you're right. Is that why we did this?
Yeah,
No.
that's why we did originally. Because we were all talking about McDonald's after we got done recording. We're like, guys, let's have a McDonald's breakfast later. Like before
Yeah.
our show.
And then in my case, it's just a straight up McDonald's dinner thanks to time zones.
I think my favorite thing about today has been this was supposed to bring us closer together, and I think I hate all of you more now.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, like we woke up and was like, this McDonald's thing was a bad idea, wasn't it?
Yep. This is a terrible idea.
Let's not do that again. So KFC next week?
That sounds
Hey,
good.
you know what? I'm down.
Kentucky Fried Cucky. So, all right. So,
Kentucky Fried
As you know-
Clicky.
as you know, last week we had every intention of covering Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but due to time constraints, we just ended up with Sonic 3. How history repeats itself. So this week, we're going to be talking all about Sonic Spinball and why it
Perfect.
is a great, follow-up to
It
Sonic
has
3.
the absolute best soundtrack of the entire Sonic series, especially the menu music. I listen
Mine,
to
bro,
it when
is
I
the
wake up.
options menu.
Yeah, no, but have
Yeah.
you heard? Someone did a version of it without the Tesla coils, and it's actually a fucking bop.
I also listen. I actually really like the rest of that soundtrack.
It's pretty good. I heard
Yeah.
someone combine that opening level theme with Bad by Michael Jackson, and it goes together really well.
It's almost like they're fans of Michael Jackson.
It goes together like Michael Jackson and the preteen boy.
What?
Goes together like Michael
So
Jackson.
anyway,
and worms
guys,
because he's
I
dead.
just wanted to say that all the super chats today are going towards the muzzle fund.
We
So,
do-
by the way, once again, the policy is in place. Super chats will be read at the end of every episode. So, yeah, there you have that. If you do send in a super chat, just be patient. We will get to it. We'll absolutely read it in our heads before that. So don't worry, you've been recognized. Your your 3 favorite YouTubers and Suris will have known what your name is.
I'm a Twitch streamer.
I need to get this stupid voice in order. This is my favorite game, for fuck's sake.
And this is the one that you will be destroyed for.
God damn it, this is
Already
annoying.
we got one. I'll put it in the bank.
Are you willing to suffer for your craft, Nick?
Sonic the
all
Hedgehog
the
doesn't
time.
want you to suffer, but you need to suffer for Sonic.
So, how do you guys want to tackle this? Do we want to talk about some changes, or should we talk about like the big spanking selling point of this particular?
We did
Title.
talk
I
a little
think
bit
we could-
about the
Oh, it's Super
changes
Tails?
in the past episode, but
we could
like,
also talk about our start out with our personal experiences with this one specifically.
Mine was kind of a twofer. It was like I experienced both of them at the same time for the same reasons.
So
I mean, I was there when this all happened. I distinctly remember them advertising Sonic and Knuckles, and yeah, they sold me on all of it. It looked awesome to me. The slick, minimalistic design was really sexy. Lock-on sounded just next level insane. Playing Knuckles was just, yeah, everything they advertised I was excited for, and it didn't let me down. So I had that game before I had Sonic 3, as I've said 100 times.
because you were
I got
renting
Sonic
Sonic 3.
Yeah, it took me a long time to finally get all the Sonic games when I was a kid, but well worth the wait.
So
Wayne,
what?
Wayne,
Wait.
Well, mine was
Wayne.
kind of similar to.
No,
I mean, I guess what I said. Huh? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just saying.
Oh.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? Would you give me a little kiss? Would you give me a little
There's-
kiss?
So
for a
anyway,
Klondike bar?
yeah, my experience with
anyway.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is very similar to what it was for or Sonic and Knuckles. Mostly like what I said last time for just Sonic 3 in general was as I tried it as a kid, mostly on the Sonic Mega Collection, but I didn't really get a chance to just play through Sonic and Knuckles, or all the way through, or let alone combined with Sonic 3 until just the last year. So it's still fairly fresh to me.
That's okay. I'll keep yours in the fridge.
I think for oddly enough, my experience with this game, aside from like when I first played it on Mega Collection and then realized that the lock-on tech was a thing because of the unlocking both games together with Mega Collection. Outside of that, though, I think my most vivid experience of this... Wow, I can't speak! It's not like I've got something stuck in my throat, but I think my most vivid experience with this game, oddly enough, was when I was working at Walmart, and I had this game on my 3DS, or not, yeah, on my 3DS. I had a cartridge that had like a collection for Sonic games on it, and I cannot tell you the amount of times, like the distinct memory in my mind is being on the shitter for longer than I needed to because fuck working at Walmart while playing in Sonic and Knuckles and being in Lava Reef Zone. Like specifically Lava Reef Zone is the one thing that like comes to my mind when I try to remember this game. And it's always the memories of being on the toilet ignoring my work duties at Walmart. I don't know why, but that is the first thing that comes to mind every time.
Because that's what Sonic would do.
I'm going to speak to your manager. I actually do have a story, actually, of my first experience with Sonic and Knuckles. This would have been when I was younger. And this would have been like around 2009, 2010 time. And when me and my little school friends used to go into town, we'd go to this place called Extreme Gaming, which was basically like a little Xbox parlor, effectively, where you go in, you pay £5 and you can play whatever Xbox game you want for like an hour. Really stupid, come to think of it, but like it was what we did as kids. And I asked if they had Sonic 06 to play, and they said no, but we have like the Ultimate Genesis collection. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'll play that, and I played Sonic and Knuckles in there for a little bit. And so, yeah, I came to play Sonic 06, ended up playing Sonic and Knuckles. I really missed out. I got dicked over, man. What a fucking screw.
It's just... Yeah, I remember it pretty fondly, too, of just, like, kind of going into Sonic and Knuckles after, like, just coming off of Sonic 3. And just, like, I love Mushroom Hill, and I also love, like, just how they handled that. I think I talked about the transition in, like, the Angel Island level in Sonic 3, where, you know, everything, like, catches fire, and you see this, like, almost this, like, storytelling transition. And then Mushroom Hill had this really cool effect where it's, like, God, it goes through so many, like, different colors and everything. Like, it is a vivid... level, and it just shifts and changes around you to just kind of show you how lively this place is.
It's also a really good showcase of how you can use parallax scrolling to show like the depth of an area. Like as you're going through this game, it feels like there's a lot more foliage in here than in other areas of the Sonic games of that era.
Yeah.
Which I am all for. Like I like the aesthetic a lot. I like jungles in general. If you can give me like a jungle level in a Sonic game, that stuff's usually pretty good. And, you know, if you're Wayne, jungle levels usually also mean there's a temple close by.
I was thinking that.
I freaking knew it.
I can't believe you haven't played the Tomb Raider games, dude. I was just making a dumbass joke on Twitter the other day, and then you're like, oh yeah, I should probably try this sometime.
They need a Sonic level with monkeys in it that aren't like robot monkeys, just actual monkeys. It would be the funniest Sonic level ever, because monkeys make everything funny.
Okay, go play some more Monkey Ball.
I don't want to play fucking Monkey Ball.
Okay, shut the fuck up about monkeys.
Monkeys are good. Monkey Ball's not, okay? Understand that, bitch.
My God.
American cheese.
And of course,
fight you, man.
Mushroom Hill Zone also did introduce like one of the like coolest elements of Sonic 3 and Knuckles if you have them combined. Right there when you start the level, you know, you get to see Knuckles like coming out of a little secret room, and by following him or going in behind him, that's where you could get to see the Chamber of the Master Emerald. And you get to, if you collected all 7 Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic 3 levels, then you get, you know, you can start your quest towards perfecting them. They're perfect emeralds, right? Or
No.
Super Emeralds?
Super Emeralds.
Super
Super
Emeralds.
Emeralds.
Sonic 5 and Monkey.
Wayne, are you okay?
I'm gonna need this jackass in our comments with my name saying the stupidest shit about Sonic and Knuckles. Be quiet, you idiot. No, Sonic and Knuckles is an awesome game. For God's sakes. It doesn't have a save file because Sonic 3 has a save file. You can't have two... Dumb garbage. God.
Oh my god.
Also,
No, Mushroom Hill is amazing. For fuck's sake. No, that
Mushroom
level
Hill
is
is
so
awesome.
good.
also,
Nick,
I'll just say this:
Sit down, man.
where like the save system is concerned, if the save system kills Sonic and Knuckles, then Sonic 2 is killed by not having a save system, but it's not. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
NFT ball.
I've said it like oh man. No, I just got done yelling at him, but yeah, that was a good joke. But no, like it works on a lot of levels. It really does. Some that people don't really talk about because a lot of people don't play this on its own anymore is that this does get its own little intro video if you play it by yourself with Knuckles. Just him, casually sitting there watching animals be animals, and then the little robot comes in, and they're off on an adventure. Simple, quick, and it just
But it
gets
contextualizes
into it.
Knuckles stuff for you, which is
By the way, Nick in the chat, he was being deliberately hyperbolic. Don't worry.
I was, but also eat shit. But anyway,
God damn it.
I was just whatever, dude. I love this game.
We need
Not
to get
gonna
this
listen
man
to
his
this
medicine. Come on, open wide. I'm gonna
It
tickle
is-
your throat.
His medicine
It
is
is
just McDonald's.
very weird how people like to pretend like this is a separate game, and it's not. It's part 2 of a larger experience.
But this is a separate podcast
I guess
from
it's-
the previous one.
It's kind of weird though, because like for a lot of people, especially a lot of us who experienced this first by playing it on the GameCube, to us it just was a separate game. And there were some weird things like before, because it takes a lot of playing to actually unlock the combined cart. There was a lot of like weird things that I kind of had to internalize when I was playing this game as a kid, because when you play them separately, there is not that save data thing. So one of the things that always popped into my mind as a kid is, wait, why does Sonic 3 have the save data, but Sonic and Knuckles, the sequel, doesn't? Because in my mind, games progressed in a linear fashion, at least as far as tech was concerned, right? So like there was less and less reason going forward for games to not have save data, because I had no context for the lock-on tech at the time. And obviously all that makes perfect sense now that I know. But it was an interesting experience to me because for me, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles did stand on their own as separate, full and complete games, regardless of like length issues with 3. Like they stood on their own to me as a kid because that's how I experienced them, and I had no context otherwise. Like,
What's awesome though is that like in a way, like Sonic 3 and Knuckles' lock-on technology kind of gave way to things like expansion packs and DLCs and stuff. Like back then, we had
it
Sonic
didn't.
3 and Knuckles.
did
Today,
not.
I can pay for a Spider-Man skin in the Avengers game. And
That's more
legacy.
PC. That's more PC stuff, bro.
yeah,
Not-
PCs have been
not
doing
lock-on.
expansion
It is
packs for a
indeed
very
politically
long
correct.
time.
Yes.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
Yep, we walked right into that one. Oh my gosh.
I think it's better to contextually saying that I think it was console kids' first experience with things of that nature. If you talk to any old school PC gamer, like they've been doing this shit for forever.
I think
I
the
feel
Back
like
in those days.
Sonic is like the most noteworthy emergence of that, though, particularly on console.
I think the
yeah,
closest
without a
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
I think
That's
the
what it
the closest allegory to that would probably be like the Street Fighter 2 re-releases. That's as close to an expansion pack as you can get without actual lock-on tech.
That's a good point. Yes, that's a very good example. And we were making fun of it back then too, because it was just weird and tedious. And why are we doing this? But yeah, that was definitely a step in the right direction, which is very interesting if you consider Sega's history with hardware. They are notorious, especially with their Genesis. It's hard to admit, but like that is like their only actual truly successful console out there. Genesis and Master System did fine. Saturn did fine in Japan. Everybody loves Dreamcast. I understand that. But like the Genesis was very obviously their darling. And they did everything they could to make that thing matter longer. And they did the Sega CD and they did the 32X, and they kind of had the same mentality going into Sonic and Knuckles, but nobody talks shit about it because it was just taken as and I am sorry, Nick. Oh, I was just being an asshole, but we do love having you here. I love yelling about Sonic and Knuckles. But yeah, like I do think that's a very, very unique little thing. And consoles and game cartridges and all that, like they weren't. It wasn't. How do I describe this? It wasn't super strange to see them doing weird experimental things, but
I mean, we had Game Shark and Game Genie around this time too. So like
good point. Yes.
we kind of intuitively knew, because those, like, even if you didn't know about Sonic 3 and Knuckles lock-on tech, you knew what a Game Genie was. You knew what a Game Shark was. You knew probably what a Super Game Boy was, actually. Like, people were not strangers at this point to the idea of a cartridge that locked another cartridge into it. There were a billion examples of this technology being used. And I mean, hell, in the where Game Genie and Game Shark are concerned, these were ways of modifying games, not unlike what you would get with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's just a very specific kind of modification with this game. So I don't want to say it's not unique, because it is unique in the way it's executed, but it was certainly a tech that was ubiquitous to the time.
And then that would not exist without McDonald's. That's the thing.
Strangely enough.
And yeah, McDonald's wanted that. Wasn't it like McDonald's wanted that promo, and they wanted it during a certain time frame, and that time frame basically just fucked all the developers?
Yeah.
I fucking hate McDonald's.
I wonder if that at the time was just sort of like an ignorance to the way game development really works.
No, it's not that. So here's the thing, because this is how crunch like culture still works today in game design. Yes, everybody who works in game design or works in marketing around game design knows the immense labor that goes into any particular project. Money doesn't care. I hate wording it that way, but it's not that a bunch of executives are like are uniquely naive to the struggles that labor has to go through to get a video game out there. It's more they don't care.
I think that's definitely a part of it. There is still, like, even in that time period, like, I'll tell you, when I was saying I wanted to go off to college to, like, learn how to animate and make games and everything, I had some older people in my life that were just like, oh, so he wants to go play video games for rest of his life and everything. And these people still think the extent of what a video game does and can be is Pac-Man. Like, They just don't understand the medium.
It is so. This is a tangent. This is not necessarily Sonic related, but it does pick up from what you were talking about. A very weird experience for me was having my stepdad, who's much older. He's about 60-ish now, playing Arkham Knight. Because we were just killing time over at my grandparents' house for a little bit while we were waiting for my grandpa to get back from the hospital. So I hooked up my Wii U to the TV and started playing not Arkham Knight, but Arkham City. Yeah. And I started a new game on Arkham City and started going through and just watching my stepdad be engrossed in the presentation of that game, because he had never experienced it. Had never experienced a video game that was not, 8-bit.
Yeah.
And just like seeing him go, this is basically just like a movie. I'm like, I mean, yes and no, but also yes.
Yeah, I remember being at like a movie theater, like my mom and I were going to go see something, and they we got there early, so like, they have those advertisements there and everything, and they had a little advertisement for Uncharted 4 at the time, and my mom was just like, "Oh, what movie is this?" And I'm just like, "Not a movie, Mom." I just having to explain. It's like, yeah, no, this industry has changed and it's evolved, and you could see that as soon as like these games, like with 3 and Knuckles, and just like the way that they were trying to really go out of their way to represent themselves in a new way, in ways that platformers just didn't really attempt before. It was ambitious.
I think the closest thing to the kind of presentation, and no, this isn't fully analogous because a lot of what you get in Sonic 3 and Knuckles in general is like background stuff, like background storytelling, stuff that's going on around you while you're playing with, a quick 3 or 4 second interlude in between. But the closest analogy to this I could probably think of would be on the previous gen, the type of presentation that Ninja Gaiden had. But that was a lot more intricate and a lot like there was no environmental storytelling in that by comparison. It was all through cutscenes, which is still kind of a weird thing to think about for an NES game. There was certainly a lot more going on where the story is concerned with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because it wasn't just, here's this cutscene where Knuckles is laughing at you while he throws you down into yet another pit where you're going to get screwed. Like, there's actually, like, a lot of stuff going on in the background, and a lot of that stuff that changes based on the character that you play. When you're going through this part of the story as Knuckles, things are, like, you're going through the same environments, but things are very different in terms of what's going on around you and the type of things you're encountering.
And I admire the way that they let it play out in real time just around you. And so a lot of it is just things not so much that you're watching, but you're experiencing. And I think I made the Half-Life comparison last week. That's just kind of like, this was the 16-bit of that mentality to me.
Actually, the game I keep thinking about prior to this one that really had that cinematic elevation, just building up, like having a grand, fun adventure with the wide variety of environments leading to this crazy epic battle in space. Prior to this, the only other experience I could think that really gave me the goosebumps like this game did was Kirby's Adventure.
Oh, okay.
That game completely caught me off guard because it was just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, like it was just so much more expansive than I anticipated. And by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, wow, this feels much more grand and at the same time dire than I anticipated. And as much as I love Doomsday Zone and everything, I don't really think any final boss is really going to match Kirby Adventure's final boss in terms of that was my first like truly grand epic experience. But yeah, Kirby's Adventure, that made me expect more in terms of just silent storytelling in these goofy, friendly platformers. And Sonic 3 and Knuckles followed suit for me and expanded upon it in a lot of different ways. And yeah, I genuinely love that game for it. You would see it again. And like I said, like there's a lot of parallels between this and Sonic Adventure 2 specifically. Like we talked about last time. And like a lot of them, a whole bunch of them. Like you get a brand new mysterious rival. You run around in a pyramid filled with ghosts. You launch up into space. There was a lot of other ones too. I was trying to think about here, but
and it was developed in a very tumultuous circumstances, and ended up being one of the most beloved games in the franchise.
Yeah,
being one of the most beloved of any of them. There's more comparisons I can make. I'm sure I'll spit them out when my brain starts. I can think of one. Sonic 3 and Knuckles was one of those games that it taught me to expect more out of
it taught you to expect more out of what?
Did Nick die again?
It's a mystery.
I don't know what I'm supposed to expect. Nick,
Maybe we need a poll.
Zelda's my what? Zelda's my what?
Okay, what does Nick expect more of?
He expects more out of us. I think that's all. I think that's going to be the universal comment.
Man, I expect more from myself every day.
No, really, where is he gone though?
Man, I just get disappointed in myself every day. I wake up, I look in the mirror, and I go, "Oh God, you're still here."
I wonder if this poor man's internet is just being ornery again.
Oh, it's probably that's probably exactly what's happening.
Damn narcissistic internet router.
We are just filling.
My internet's going wonky on me, and now it's I have a hard connection. What's going on here?
I
have a
hard
I had
connection with you
a hard
too.
connection with Wayne last night, if you know what I'm saying.
No!
I literally I have my pants down and it's just crammed right into the computer. What more does it want from me?
Look,
Hold up, what?
look, Nick, if you are not drained by the end of your computer session, you're not doing it enough.
You know, I really did enjoy being friends with you guys for a while here. That's
All right, gents, let's get back
that was
on
the
topic
last.
and talk.
That was the last straw. Okay, I see how it is.
Let's talk about Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
That's what we've been
leave on?
talking about.
I was rambling for a minute before I was like,
You're talking
uh-oh.
about Sonic Adventure 2 and how Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Adventure 2 have a lot of similarities thematically and mechanically.
Well,
You
yeah,
also
they're both the best games in the franchise.
the exact line you left off on was, "It taught me to expect more out of."
And then we never heard.
I thought I made a good point. No, it taught me to expect more out of video games as a whole.
We got
It
the
elevated
answer.
my expectation out of the entirety of this hobby, out of this industry, out of everything. So like when us classic snobs get really persnickety about some of the failings of the 3D games, any of the games after this point, honestly, Chaotix or 3D Blast, any of these fucking games, a lot of that comes from this game for me, because it really did stand with the other greats that stand the test of time even today. Like, this is forever going to be a good game in every way you want to look at it. And yeah, that's what I expect out of Sonic, and that's because of this game.
There's
Yeah.
a fight going on in the chat.
Oh, God.
But also, there was something I thought about. Oh yeah, Smacko when he said "lol Wayne," implying he isn't a degenerate. Look, man, Wayne just plays hard to get, and I just play getting hard. So, like, you know how it is.
And this guy is telling us to get back on track here.
Yep. Remember, it needs to be understood that when it comes to Sunset City, the peak of focus and maturity is Channel Pup, and I think that's a bar we all should strive for.
Isn't that interesting though? Anyways, shall we do a level by level overview of the video game?
No, before we do that, I think we should talk about the new playability that was Knuckles, like what he brought to the table.
He did bring something that so for me, I experienced Sonic Adventure 2 before I experienced this game specifically. Like, I experienced Sonic 1 and 2 before Adventure 2, but this one was after Adventure 2. So for me, when I played Knuckles in this game, I had already played Adventure 2 and Sonic Advance. So he played exactly as I expected him to, because I'd already experienced both 3D and 2D Knuckles. And his moveset here, outside of, not having the punches from Advance and Adventure, was pretty much exactly what I was looking for. Though there is one thing that he can do in this game that is very unique to him, that I didn't think about it in the way that I do now until your video on this game, Nick. But I always thought that, like, he can punch through walls, therefore he can get to other areas on Angel Island. That's cool. But it wasn't until your video where I was like, he knows where he can do this because this is his home. Like, I didn't connect those dots until your video.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've always found it quite funny how Knuckles is a character that is entirely about his fists, but he can't actually punch in his debut game. Like, that would kind of fly up in the face of the overall game mechanic, but I've always found it quite funny.
I thought about that too, especially as a kid. I always wanted him to punch, and then I played Sonic Advance, and that series, like, yeah, there's no need for it.
Yeah,
it was a
because
little more
you
useful
never
in the 3D
use
games.
it.
Yeah. But it just turns out being a murder ball is way more effective. I mean, it has its uses in the adventure games, for sure, though.
Yeah, it is. It feels like, granted, Sonic Advance definitely added those in just because it was made after Adventure, and it was made for Adventure fans to have a 2D Sonic with, like, that aesthetic and everything. But it certainly would have been probably a little more apt to have Knuckles be able to do that in his debut game. But to be fair, there is like the way that my little kid brain put it together was that, oh, he can't punch, but when he runs, his fists are like extended in front of him just ever so slightly. So like when you're burrowing past walls, it's his fists destroying them. Was like the way that my little kid brain went. It was like, oh yeah, he's got his fists in front. That's why he can do it. Like I was also the type of person that would make up any apologetic for why my PlayStation 1 characters only seem to have a triangle for a hand. I tried doing like several days walking around holding items that way and found it incredibly hard and went, I don't know why they're doing this.
I mean, even if we couldn't put it into words. I think we understood that there were some limitations in what games could do. And looking back on Knuckles specifically, I think I do appreciate them not putting in frivolous mechanics, because there are like frivolous like set pieces here and there. And you can tell it's just there to emphasize how much fun it is to play with these characters and their physics and their mechanics. Because this is Yuji Naka after all, so I can understand them doing we're trying to keep this as simple as possible.
Yeah.
This is far before the Balan Wonderworld, where they actually like ingeniously and very naturally have you do a lot of things, just in different ways. What the fuck is it, Pup?
I was about to ask you, who's Eugene Naka?
Pup, Mr. Yuji Naka is safe.
Eugene Naka.
He's the dad in the Japanese version of Japanese Pie. I was gonna try to say American Pie, but no, that doesn't work anymore, does it?
No.
Actually, if you just said the Japanese version of American Pie, it would still work.
I'm gonna post on the Twitter page about this. I'm just gonna post a picture of an old man and just put like Eugene Naka.
No, you gotta put Yuji Naka, but you have to put Eugene Levy's eyebrows on him. That's what you gotta do.
That's too smart. Okay, this needs to be
lowbrow humor of the Pup variety.
It's not lowbrow. It's just extreme.
Big brow. Yuji's brows. Put them on there.
No, I'm not gonna do that, Nick. You want to do that? You do it yourself.
No, I'm
but
lazy.
you're the one who's best at photoshopping.
It's my meme. We're doing it my way.
Hey, now I'm pretty okay at Photoshop.
There, too late. It's out.
I just don't do it often.
Check the Sunset City.
I prefer it when I get original Wayne drawings. I mean, that's what I paid you for. To be honest.
So for Knuckles
today.
Did we? We did. Oh shit.
Okay, I'm gonna.
What happened?
Podcast.
We haven't promoted our show. In the meantime, because I will have to reset. Do I sound fine to you guys?
You sound okay.
You sound really fine. But
Okay.
You know who
Good.
sounds the finest?
You sound like a friend I'd like to have.
As long as I'm milking the dog with my voice, that means we're okay. So,
Nick speaks, and we immediately have to try to identify why the red rocket's there.
There we go.
Yes.
That's quickly become my favorite Wayne reaction, I think.
Wayne's most quotable lines are and oh.
So speaking of red rockets, let's get back to the character that's head is full of them.
Never, ever, under any circumstances, want to hear that segue come out of your face again.
Speaking of red rocket.
Speaking of Pup's penis, Knuckles.
What I found so satisfying about this, this was kind of like with Sonic 3, that you could finally fly with Tails. It was nice to like have that freedom with Tails. I didn't have a lot of fun like making it move though. With Knuckles though,
moving with Tails is tedious.
But like the gliding and climbing with Knuckles just felt so unique and fun. Like it felt like a proper, I'd call it like an evolution from the core Sonic design, but it was definitely like a fun diversion from it.
It's a lot like when you get when you're playing a game that's not supposed to have a lot of vertical movement and you activate the moon jump glitch in any game. It feels like that a little bit.
What I like about it though is you'd think, you got three characters that overall run at a similar speed. We got one that can fly with his ass. We got one that can like fly through the sky with his knuckles. You'd think Sonic would be at a disadvantage, but the fact that Sonic can jump a lot higher than Knuckles can, at least, they found ways to kind of even the odds a little bit, you know.
I'm not
I
gonna
did
lie.
appreciate that as a kid because I definitely played Knuckles way more often as a kid. I was way too excited to play around with him. But yeah, I agree. Like going back now, yeah, they definitely kept Sonic in mind the whole way through, and I definitely appreciate that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize. So it wasn't through playing through Sonic 3 with Knuckles or playing through Sonic 3 and Knuckles like as the entire package or playing through Sonic and Knuckles. None of those had me identify the shortcomings of Knuckles' jump height. The thing that had me identify it was when I started playing as Knuckles in Sonic 2.
Yeah,
And I was in the water level. And when you're fighting when you're fighting the boss of that level and he's slamming the totem poles and you're trying to jump on the arrows to actually hit him, it was at that moment where I'm like, hold on, something doesn't feel right. I know when I'm playing as Sonic, I can hit this guy. What the hell is going on? Like that moment, that is the exact point where I realized, oh, this guy's balanced differently.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of us to be like, because you could like, there's like subtle things you might be reacting to subconsciously prior to that point, but yeah, that is definitely like the tipping point for a lot of us. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see the difference. I'm with you there too. That was there for me too.
Because like especially for me, the reason that was where I identified it the most, I think, is because, like, remember, I played Sonic 2 a lot before I ever owned the thing. But I didn't have that experience of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I got that on the GameCube. So it was like the younger, more small little kid part of my brain was like, this feels wrong. This does not feel like how it was when I was whatever age I was playing at my friend's house.
Yeah.
But it's I do, while it does feel when you're playing as Knuckles, it does feel like you can't get to the same spots as Tails. It does feel like it's a lot more fun to get to different areas as Tails. Not to mention, just in general, there's areas, especially in I know this is going to a thing we talked about in the previous episode. There's places, especially in Marble Garden, where playing as Knuckles just makes more sense because you can just get through parts of the environment that are dead ends for other characters. I can't think of many other places where that's the case outside of Marble Garden, to my knowledge, where it feels like there's just a dead end randomly that like Knuckles doesn't have that problem.
Yeah.
But I think
that's the only spot I'm thinking about. Yeah.
But I think my biggest thing with Knuckles is that it does feel better when you're playing him, because when you're playing as Tails, it definitely feels like you're playing the quote easy mode of the game. Right. But it's also, there's nothing fun about flying by hammering the A button repeatedly to keep your altitude. You're just playing the helicopter game, but it's not fun when you're doing it. With Knuckles, at least, it feels like there's a little bit more thought that has to go into how you're navigating the environment. Because you go, oh, I want to get to this ledge, but there's a lip right under it, and I can't do anything there, so I need to get up this hill on the left-hand side so I can get just enough air so I can glide over here so that I can hit there and see if there's something up there, and there might not even be. But there's just that little bit of extra thought that goes into playing Knuckles that definitely makes him a lot more fun than Tails, despite him being a little more limited in his flight capabilities.
But like it's all checks and balances though, isn't it? Because Tails, yeah, I mean, you sacrifice a lot of that momentous speed with the ability to explore and full on avoid some obstacles through a lot of this playthrough. And I gotta say, I definitely didn't appreciate Tails as much when I was a kid because I keep forgetting Sonic 3 is the first time he actually has the ability to fly around, because he couldn't do that in Sonic 2 despite the animation showing that off.
Yep.
And being able to carry Sonic up with you if you had two players going, like there's a lot of clever stuff there. And yes, it's the checks and balances, because it's easy mode for Sonic as opposed to Knuckles, where that marriage between the gliding and climbing and the base rolly ball speed stuff, that all flows together a little bit better, because when you start flying with Tails, like that momentum's just gone in an instant, as opposed to Knuckles, where, I mean, if you run into a wall and start climbing up it, that's gone as well. But like the gliding, it all works together in a much more fun experience, I want to say. But at the same time, I do appreciate how much of that environment is built with him in mind when you do play through with him, because yeah, they understood like you could technically break the game with some of these moves. So he's going to jump a little bit, not quite as high, and some of his levels are just going to be flat out different. Because yes, if you're an experienced veteran player, you're going to have a new experience, and that was rad.
I mean, it also kind of goes to showcase one of the things that we talked about in the last episode, how this game is an entire package, not just Sonic and Knuckles, but as an entire package. It marries a lot of the speed factor of Sonic 2 with a lot of the verticality of Sonic CD, and that lends itself really well to Knuckles, and that's kind of showcased a lot when you're playing as Knuckles in this. When you're playing as Knuckles in this game, it feels like there's a lot more to do than when you're playing as Knuckles in, say, Sonic 2. Like, just in general, one of those games is designed more for you to have more blinding speed. The other one's designed for you to have that, and also having platforming, and also having levels that are stacked really, really high.
Yeah, you could tell the attention was paid more to Knuckles. He was the new hip fun. I don't know about fun. Well, I mean, technically fun, but like he's just the cool new character. Yeah, he's the cool new character. He got a lot of love. He got a lot of attention. Actually, when I think about Sonic Adventure 2, I mean, it's a little bit different because yeah, Shadow got a lot of attention, but he was just more Sonic. I'm thinking about it.
In fact, actually, Shadow does less than Sonic. He doesn't get bounce bracelet.
Yeah,
so he's just in general, he does less, and he has fewer levels.
Wait, Suris, are you saying that Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch ass motherfucker?
Yes, yes, I am. That man pissed on my wife.
That was one of the comparisons, and I'll probably talk about it in a video coming up. In terms of like these Sonic rivals and everything, that was something I always, and I'll flat out say this. I know I'm a classic fan. I fucking love Shadow's design. I'm not so invested in. I think he's a little bit too OP in the adventure games. I think he's a little bit. I don't know. Just a bit too much of him. I think they had too much focus on him. But
he has ever the slightest dose of cringe.
I mean, to be fair, also, like, Knuckles is treated as a distinct character with a distinct power set, whereas Shadow is and this is coming from somebody who loves Shadow. Shadow is them going, what if Sonic had other superpowers as well?
Well, that's the problem, though, because Knuckles is brought in with the core idea is to be like the polar opposite of Sonic in terms of strength and everything with his design, but he's built with mechanics in mind. I don't see that with Shadow. Like, the first thing he literally does is the exact opposite of what Sonic does. He stops everything. Like, that's his power. We're going to stop everything.
And
Everyone
it's a power you can't even use in the game unless you are in multiplayer, in which case Sonic gets it too.
And it's not exactly fun.
And he's, that's the thing, is that, like, Shadow is interchangeable with Sonic. You could play any Shadow level as Sonic in that game. However, there are Sonic levels that you could not get through as Shadow.
Yeah, and it's and to be fair, this is not an intentional design thing, but it is weird that that's how Adventure 2 treats Shadow versus like how they would treat Shadow later. When you go back and look at Sonic and Knuckles and they go, okay, but when you're playing as Tails, you get access to all of this. But when you're playing as Knuckles, you get access to all of this. Like the idea in mind was not to just have you go through the Sonic level again in the same way. The idea in mind was, let's have you go through and do some unique things. Let's have you go through and do things you simply could not do as the other character. And I'm not going to lie, like, don't get me wrong, Adventure 2 is my favorite Sonic game. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time next to Resident Evil 4. But it is kind of sad to look back on it versus this game and realize, like, from a game design perspective, they had a much better philosophy going forward with Knuckles when it came to game mechanics. And I hate it when I'm having to like think about that, because I'm just like, there's nothing unique. Even nowadays, honestly, there's nothing unique about playing Shadow in comparison, because when you play Shadow, even in something like Sonic Forces, it's just a reskin.
Well, depending on the game, I mean, Sonic's not exactly taking out a Glock and busting some people.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like the only unique mechanics Shadow's really brought to the table, I'd say were in his game, and I would say it's a detriment to the overall core fundamentals
And-
of what these games are supposed to be.
Let's
Again, I'm not trying to shit on Shadow here. This shouldn't be a Shadow podcast specifically.
Yeah.
I just bring him up in comparison to what I appreciate about Knuckles and the priorities of these developers, which was this is a video game, and the priority needs to be game mechanics more than anything else.
And
That is
Knuckles
going to be,
screams that.
and that is always going to be the most important thing for me when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. I get the importance of the characters. I do I have a living thanks to you guys because I talk about how important these characters are. But in terms of like these rival characters, I think that is I'll talk about Shadow a different time. This is just what I really appreciate about Knuckles. He was just fully formed in design, in narrative, and most importantly, mechanics. It was so much fun to play him when he first came out, and I forever will be grateful for this game for doing that. We should probably, I'm assuming you want us to get moving on here.
I was going to
apologize.
say, let's get back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll save the Shadow stuff for Sonic Adventure 2, which will.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, we have actually been decently on point because at this point we're doing a character.
I know. It's a character comparison study. Let's move back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah. So, guys, want to get started with the levels? I mean, we already kind of brushed on Mushroom Hill quite a bit.
I feel like we've
done that a
already
few times.
covered
It's
Mushroom Hill.
worth noting that Sonic and Knuckles definitely, like, if you treat it as a separate game, it doesn't make the same initial impression as Sonic 3 because, I mean, for starters, you don't have that opening cutscene. You do have one
If you play as
shortly into the level, but you don't necessarily get that same lead in like you do with Sonic 3. But
Fair.
I mean, that's further evidence that this is a middle chapter rather than like, well, or a finale, a part 2, than it is its own game. It's further evidence that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the whole package as it was meant to be played. And it's also like you don't get that lead-in introduction to Knuckles either. When you first see him in Sonic and Knuckles, if you're playing as Sonic, he's not really getting up to anything too mischievous. He's got something to hide because he's hiding that like the Super Emerald Shrine, but like, you know, you don't necessarily see him as this force working against you this time.
Well, I mean,
There is a tonal shift, but I feel like when you see the Chamber of the Master Emerald, there's kind of a different feeling of Knuckles and what his position in the story is. Now, that being said, I'm kind of influenced by the fact that I was already familiar with Knuckles and where he would end up with and what his dichotomy would be with the rest of the cast later on going into this. I had that retrospect to go off of. A newer player might not get that, but for me, it was just kind of like I felt a shift when you got to the and Knuckles levels, and then you see Knuckles there versus what I got from him seeing him in the earlier stuff.
It does. I kind of share the exact same experience where Wayne is concerned because I played this game after having played Adventure 2 and after having like seen some of the stuff on Adventure 1, at least, you know, at that point. It did give me the perspective that like I was watching a character backstory for him more like when I was playing through his stuff for Mushroom Hill, more than like this being a new unique experience for me because it's I experienced them in the reverse order than when they were intended. But I think where Mushroom Hill is concerned, we did talk about that a lot. I do have to say there is one mechanic in this level that I'm not a huge fan of. And it's the kind of like not seesaw, but the pulley mechanic.
The pulleys.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these things. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I feel like anytime you do them, you just kind of come to a stop.
Yeah, I said that last week, I think, when I said that I don't think Mushroom Hill is quite as good of an opener as Angel Island. At the same time, I'd say it's more of a mechanically functional level than Angel Island feels more like a playable cutscene in a way. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that more in like reference to it feels much more plot sensitive than what we have with Mushroom Hill, which feels more like a Sonic level, if you get me. Like it feels more like something you're going
more
through with challenges along the way. Yeah.
And that makes sense though.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, no.
actually, and I've come to praise like this stuff in Mushroom Hill specifically because I think it functions like Green Hill does in different ways, where there's just a lot of stuff here that is like a literal playground. Like you're just kind of here to experiment with the environment in different ways. Some of it's a little needless, but I don't really think they built this with like a speedrunner in mind. I really do think they took a step back from how zippy the like Sonic 2 was. Just so help the player realize, like, yeah, you just have fun here. Just stick around here before you get to the end. Like, no, there's no crazy rush. You got 10 minutes. You're fine.
It feels like it definitely feels like this is the part where the narrative kind of just takes a break for a second. It's
Yeah,
just like,
it
here's your
feels-
breather.
Yeah, like
It-
it's like a breather after launch base. But another thing I will say, to the credit of this as a two-part game, as like two split parts and everything, it doesn't have any stupid fucking difficulty spikes like Sonic 2 had, for example. So like if Sonic 3's launch base zone had been as absurd of a difficulty spike as like Metropolis or fucking Sky, whatever the fuck it was, like yeah, you'd have a bit of a problem going from that to this, or it's like a breather kind of thing. But it's like, imagine if they followed that difficulty up, because Sonic games or any game, it tends to get a little more difficult as it goes along. With Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it feels like there's new challenges constantly approaching, but they don't feel like they're ramping it up too much in difficulty. It still feels like there's a really strong sense of progression between each level in these two games.
Yeah, I got mixed feelings about the overall difficulty when it comes to this because yeah, like the general idea is things become more challenging the more you carry on with your adventure. Sonic and Knuckles does not do that. You have like I could describe it kind of like a bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, where you got like peaks and then valleys and things of that nature. Because I'd say like the most challenging portions of Sonic 3 would be Marble Garden and then portions of Act 2 of Carnival Night, and then the most challenging sections of again, this is just my personal experience with it. The most challenging sections of Sonic and Knuckles was the Sandopolis before you really understand how that world functions. Because your first time through it, even first couple times through it, is insanely stressful. Especially if you started with Knuckles.
That you have to get your head around. But it's like Knuckles is kind of the hard mode, and like Tails is like the easy mode. And like I think it's quite smart because like when I look at these games overall, I wouldn't say Launch Base Zone is much more difficult than Fun Labyrinth Zone, and I wouldn't say that Flying Battery Zone is much harder than Launch Base Zone and stuff. It's a really nice steady thing of there's new challenges that you have to work your head around, but from a hands-on practical perspective, none of these are that much harder. Like it stays at a nice level of difficulty after Fun Labyrinth Zone.
Yeah, and I think that comes down more to you coming to master the general mechanics of these characters more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, and this is what I preach about Sonic 3 and Knuckles is for any of the classic Sonic games, is all four of them have you go through a very different kinds of environments. Sonic 2 does not have the same level design of Sonic 1. And while I've compared Sonic 1 and Sonic CD, that's still vastly different in terms of what you're supposed to do the general goals are still the same, but the time travel, the general layout, it's all different, but they've not really changed the mechanics since game 1. And all you're doing at this point is just going through different jungle gyms and testing your abilities in different ways. And I love that about these games.
It's also like, let's say that they did the same thing with Sonic 2. Let's say that Sonic 2 was split into two games. So you've got Sonic 2 and Sonic and Tails, and you make Sonic 2 and Tails. But like let's say like Sonic and Tails starts at like just like Oil Ocean or something. Like that's going to be a significantly less fun half of that game, because after that you've got Metropolis, and like fortunately Sonic and Knuckles doesn't suffer from that problem in that I would say maybe like once you get to Flying Battery there's a little jump up in difficulty, but it's nothing unreasonable. Whereas like if you started a new game where the second level is literally Metropolis, you dismiss that game. You just like, fuck this.
I do have to say, just from like an aesthetic level, and this does come from playing Sonic 2 first. I do like the transition from here's your like really green, really nice first, quote quote first level, because to me this was a standalone game at first,
Right.
to Flying Battery Zone, which to me felt like this game's version of Chemical Plant, in terms of like, oh, okay, so you've gone from the really nice outdoorsy green level, and now you are sitting in the middle of an Eggman base. Congratulations, you're now here. This is a little sooner than you thought it was going to be, but don't worry, you won't have any nightmares about purple liquid here. I did actually
no
appreciate
water
that
in
here.
it, is there? There's no water in the second half.
This is one of the
No,
few
there's
levels
none.
with no water.
That's interesting because like Sonic 3, I think every level has a little water in it. Whereas
Except
moving
for
into
Marble
Sonic and
Garden.
Knuckles, yeah, except for Marble Garden. Whereas like you move into Sonic and Knuckles, and there's no water whatsoever to be found.
Right.
There's lava. There's sand.
What I thought was kind of brilliant, I mean, I think Ice Cap would kind of go against what I was about to say, which was like, I feel like they're just changing the environments enough. Like, well, maybe you're just getting a little bit more elevated on the island. Like, well, I mean, how much more elevated can you be when you're on fucking Ice Cap? So
Yeah.
never mind that particular notion. But I do appreciate that. Like, yeah, like I do still, I will argue forever that this is all one big game. But I do appreciate there are some different like design for these levels in terms of if you're going to consider them a package. And yeah, water is a heavy emphasis in part 1, and then the bubble shield is just kind of useless in part 2.
Yeah, it's
It's also-
6.2 out of 10. Too much water.
It's also just nice to have like a breather, actually. Like if you look at it as one game, like after launch base, you've got
I've always considered that. Yeah.
Mushroom Hill, and it's nice to take a breather after the intensity. Like it's mainly story intensity, because I would not say that launch base is a particularly difficult stage. But like,
Yeah.
as far as story is concerned, and as well as that having 3 bosses, or if you play it as Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it's only got 2 bosses. I'm going to say this, they could have afforded
Well-
to keep Big Arm in there.
Yeah, but I mean if you are playing with Knuckles, it is
Yeah.
you're
It's not
back
the
to
same,
hard
though.
mode.
It's also harder with Knuckles because he doesn't have the insta shield.
You can glide him though.
Yeah, but that's
if you're careful.
harder.
It does
like,
take precision. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It takes precision. Not to mention the insta shield. It only makes things easier if you are decent with your hand-eye coordination and your reflexes.
I find insta shield really makes things pretty easy to cheese when it comes to the boss fights.
You know what? Now, I know we're kind of jumping between this like mechanics and levels and everything, but that's something we did not talk about last time, and that's something I think we overlooked, because I definitely overlooked that as a kid. Insta shield can be a fucking game breaker if you know how to use that thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a godsend. Like when I go to other Sonic games that are like classic Sonic games but aren't Sonic 3, I miss it, and it's like
I do too. Yeah.
my frustration is like with Sonic Mania, we've got the option of insta shield or drop dash, but I'm just like, is it too much to ask for both? Like you gotta hold it for drop dash, so maybe just a tap option to get that insta shield in there. Wouldn't have gone
Or
big.
a controller built with 3 buttons in mind, which Sonic Mania is trying to emulate. You'd think would use all 3 buttons in a more meaningful way instead of all 3 buttons doing the same freaking thing.
Wait,
Yeah.
who let you back on the train?
What?
But like I will say where the insta shield's concerned, my first time with it was still Sonic Advance, so like I had that idea in my head of like, oh, enemies with spikes are just insta shield puzzles. I'm just gonna jump at it and tap A, and if I get it right, I don't lose my rings. Woo!
I think but yeah, also I don't think we mentioned much in terms of, did we talk about the shields? Like the elemental shields?
Yes,
Because that's
we
also
did
quite
talk.
a major upgrade.
We
Yeah.
talked about them a little bit yesterday. Not yesterday. Yesterday on Sunset City, but a week ago in real time. But like I think we mostly just talked about the bubble shield last time.
Yeah.
And now
you
it's
got a good
time
point.
for the top 20 things that Sonic 3 introduced that Sonic 4 for some reason dropped. But
Well, I mean, Sonic 4 did, but if you think about it, 3D Sonic has incorporated everything that the shields brought to the table in some form or fashion.
yeah, no, they have. I'm just saying, like Sonic 4. Like, come on, you can't even get
I mean,
elemental shields in there.
fuck Sonic 4.
We'll talk about Sonic 4 at a later
Yeah,
date.
yeah,
but,
yeah.
like,
So like the
and-
lightning shield gets introduced in a lot of other Sonic games. The double jump from it is in Colors and Forces, kind of. The
fire shield is literally the progenitor of the homing attack.
Fire shield's the early version of the homing attack,
and boost.
And boost. No, you're not wrong about that.
And boost also has its own
Bubble shield, the bounce
magnets.
Bubble
bracelet.
shield's the bounce bracelet.
Yeah,
which
like
turned into
we're
the
seeing
stomp.
that inspiration come in there. What was I going to say though? I had another point I wanted to. Also level transitions, the transitions between levels, the way I don't think we talked about how the gold plate comes falling down and you can get bonuses out of it. That was a really nice upgrade.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
I
gonna be
also-
honest. I'm gonna be honest. It's like satisfying, but like when I was a kid, I always wanted to see more of Sonic's speed incorporated with the endings. There's like in my brain, I'd be like, wow, would it be cool if he ran past a building and there was like a big robotic sign, but like his speed, like forced the sign to come off and under it was like some Sonic graffiti? That'd be pretty sick.
I mean, you could do that. That would work quite well. I mean,
I'm surprised
but-
we didn't get any of that. Okay, now I'm angry. Hold on, Nick.
You just hear Jet Set Radio music playing.
You just explained something that could have been used for literally any environmental storytelling in Sonic Forces, and it was never fucking used. That whole
Holy
game,
shit, that would have been way better. Yeah.
that whole
because what they
game,
had there was
where-
the equivalent to like the gold plate, and it goes from an Eggman face to a resistance logo. But like, yeah, they could've
Oh,
that's
done
that would have been
other way.
awesome.
like think about it. The whole aesthetic of that game is like workers' rights propaganda from Russia. The whole thing.
yeah.
is
You're
that.
right. Yeah.
So
All
just
right.
like having
pull
the
it-
graffiti. Come on.
We'll pull it back. We had the F word now for the episode. That's great. But I also really liked how rather than fade to black, the level would pick up where the previous act left off.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
it feel bigger. I love that about it.
It also makes it feel like your progress from the previous level carries over, because like if you do get that bonus shield from the goalpost, you get to carry that over into the next act, and that it makes it feel like what you did in the last act actually matters a lot.
Also, bonus stages were a fun, literal bonus.
I do think it's funny that people apparently had issues with the that like magnetism mechanic in Sonic Mania, and yet that was literally used back in
was
the
easy
bonus
as pie.
stages here.
But it's
My
like I talked about it before in a video, but like that really surprisingly threw me off as a kid for a long time. A lot of this stuff did. I think a lot of us
it's
who
meant to be a special stage if you're going into it with like Sonic 2 logic, like.
well, like a lot of it is I mean, yeah, part of that is trying to figure it out, but I think a lot of us also kind of just overlook a lot of that because we don't really need any of that stuff anymore. We don't really need to bother with the continues or extra lives or a whole lot because, like, all right, yeah, I'm going to sit down and play Sonic 3 Knuckles and I'll have it done, in a couple hours. But, like, when you're a kid, like, that stuff becomes very, very important. And I appreciate, like, how much effort went into all of the different bonus stages. Like, the pinball one, not pinball, I'm sorry, what is that stupid thing? I have one right
Oh, the
behind me, a
gumball
literal
machine.
gumball machine.
I
That
love
was
that one.
really clever. I
That was
love
my
it. Everyone
favorite
loves
one.
that.
How every single
yeah.
time you knock it down a notch, and it's like, here's a new bonus, here's a new one.
But then there's Sonic and Knuckles reintroduces the Sonic 1 style of special stage with some casino night mechanics in there as well, which I thought was really cool and a nice way of bringing that style of special stage back.
Hey, actually, instead of just typing this in, I'm just going to answer this real quick. And I apologize, 'cause I know we have super chats to really pick apart here. This is a quick question. I want to go round table here real quick for people.
Yeah.
Smoothie was asking how you should play this. Should you play Sonic 3 by itself first or Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I'd say Sonic 3 and Knuckles at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
You're
mean,
getting the-
there's
you're getting the
there's not a
full
reason
experience.
not to.
Yeah.
Like that's how it was meant to be played. That's effectively like your director's cut, if you will. So
I
like
yeah, I think the best way is like you play it as Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and if you really enjoyed it, then play the two pieces separately so you can play it kind of how a lot of us experienced it first. But you do that as a novelty after you've played the full game.
Right.
I think
yeah.
like the most intriguing one to play separate is Sonic 3, just because it has its own little mid-game ending, effectively.
Yeah.
And you get the different musical cues as well, which I do like better. But like yeah, like
the big epic moments are in part 2, though, and that's gonna.
yeah, like I like how the ending of Sonic 3 is just like, well, that's that. Just kind of jumps at the screen. Like you might as well have Sonic jump at the screen, and the text comes up and says, "Well, that's it then."
I also gotta say that was like the saddest looking fucking like Sonic end screen I've ever seen.
It's
just-
so funny. There's no build up to it. It's like,
No,
well,
yeah.
Here's that part where he jumps at the screen as per tradition.
And like the lamest looking supersonic out of all of them too. I
Yeah,
want
he's
to
just got his
say.
little thumb up. He's just like, yay.
I gotta say, as much as I love
Yeah.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles ending, the anime ass Sonic 2 Supersonic like blasting at the screen with his quills just flapping. That's my favorite of all the renders.
I like the dolphins. If you get the proper ending of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you get little dolphins following them. But okay, let's talk a little bit about flying battery zone.
Sure.
It's a zone, all right. Like I don't think it's special, this one. I like that you can see kind of like the animal capsules. I like that there's a little lore to it in that the animal capsules are in there and you jump on some of them and they produce enemies instead. And I think one of the bosses is literally one of those capsules as well.
Yep.
They did some cool things with that, but overall I'm like, okay, it's all right. It's a zone.
I saw it as a reinterpretation of
Wing Fortress.
God, yeah, thank you. Wing Fortress Zone.
I saw it too.
Yeah, which just wasn't as bullshitty as that level could be.
Oh, it's better, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was fun. I had a lot of fun energy, a lot of chemical plant vibes as well. If you're playing it as Sonic and Knuckles on its own, just that drastic shift in the environment. And yeah, I really did like that. It just felt like the kind of the behind the scenes of Robotnik's Empire, like how things worked. Like we didn't see a whole lot of that. Now I'm thinking about it. I kind of want to figure out what those fucking monitors are from.
Very quick tangent as well. I think Flying Battery is one of the few zones that the original game did better than the Mania version.
A lot
'Cause
of
I
people
feel-
argue differently. Relaxalax did a video comparing the two of them about what they did differently. I'll have to admit, I don't remember Mania's quite as well currently. So I can't
Mania's
make the
doesn't
comparison.
seem to have quite as much of the behind the scenes of Robotnik schemes to it, you know? Like,
Well, maybe.
but I kind of like that it seems to be the same airship that bombed Angel Island. Is like you're going aboard that as well. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
it
that's
feels
a
like
good point. No, that's something I thought about as a kid. You're completely right there. That would have been really cool if they did more with that. It looks like the same thing, and that would make sense too, because that was originally going to be earlier on in Sonic 3.
Here's a funny
So that
little
makes sense.
question: do you think the airship from Rooftop Run in Generations is the Flying Battery?
It's pretty much been confirmed. It is, yeah.
It's way too small though.
Well,
No, it's just cramming in more.
It's the AAA
Cameos.
version of Flying Battery, where the original was a D.
my God. Yeah. I had a point.
Suris has gone for a shit.
God, I finally
that's why
get like
we're slowing down.
one thing I wanted to say, and then I forgot what it was.
Suris poo cam win.
When
No.
I did like the mini boss. We did miss a lot last week. How do we feel about mini bosses?
Mini bosses are a good thing. I think I like that we're kind of seeing Eggman take the opportunity to create Bagnicks that are a little rougher around the edges, that can kind of handle a bit more on their own, that he sends after Sonic before just trying to like do it himself.
Mini bosses were a good upgrade.
Yeah, I like it. I'm into it. It kind of and again, it's just like it adds to the creativity. It's just kind of like always making you wonder, what am I at the end of any act, not even just at the end of a stage, but like like what am I gonna run into at the end of this? Like what has he got up his sleeve this time?
Vote yes on poo cam, guys. You're not doing that.
No, why are you
Really
trying to
letting me down
corrupt these
today.
beautiful people?
They're not beautiful. They're Sonic fans.
Oh Jesus!
Come on, let's get that nah down. Get the ye up, okay? Come on. Don't be lame.
There was one section, I remember this as a kid, something that really confused me for a second until it showed itself, and that was the missiles actually damaging the base itself to reveal the next section. I remember being really confused for a little bit there. I played Knuckles and I was like, well, that's not working. I'm going to climb up and see what the fuck's going on here. It was clever, but
Yeah, I think they fixed that in Mania, where it just like it happens the first time a couple of missiles hit.
yeah, which I mean, it's an iconic thing. Also, like they got really devilish with how they hid their rings after they were done with with Angel. A
Oh,
lot
it
of
gets
Sonic
harder
3
at
in
the
general. In
in
Sonic and Knuckles, it's vicious, man.
it gets harder to find the secret rings to like get into the bonus stages, and then the bonus stages are harder.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Those ones, for Flying Battery specifically, I did not know where those were until I was an adult. I had to look up how to get to a lot of those ones because you have to actually push aside some spikes to drop down, and for like 2 of them specifically, I know that. I think there were some other ones I couldn't recreate the route immediately off the top of my head, but
How do I delete a poll so that Suris doesn't see it?
I mean, you have to let him see it.
I don't want him to see it.
Why don't you want him to see it? Then why'd
Why
you
do you
it?
want to see his poo,
No,
but don't
I
want
don't-
him to
I-
see
I
that you want to
thought-
see it?
No, I thought that Suris's poo cam would get a resounding positive response, but it didn't.
It did.
Why
That's a
would you?
win.
No, the win is nah. The people voted 61% on nah. It needed to
Oh.
be yes. I expected them to say yes because I thought they were cool, but apparently not. And now Suris is going to come back and think the people don't want poo cam when I am trying to run a democratic channel here, but they're voting wrong.
Sonic's got a poo finish.
So we've got,
don't let Suris know. Okay, just
We've
don't
got
tell him.
the poo cam electoral college.
Can we get a lot of messages in the live chat just to push that up so that we can't see it anymore?
I wanted
make-
Suris to be able to talk about Flying Battery, but he really does poop.
He's
for like
having a
20
long
goddamn
poo.
minutes.
This is why we need the poo cam. At least we could be entertained by watching his moans.
If I've learned anything from today after my horrific tickly coughs and Suris having to drop a dunker for the entirety of an episode, is maybe no more McDonald's before we start the show.
You know, though, like if you have a quarter pounder with cheese and fries, the poo always comes out just right.
All right, next time we're doing Taco Bell.
No. Suris will never get him out of the toilet. He'll need a wheelchair by the end of it.
No, he'll be pooing. He'll get it all out of his system before the show even starts. It'll be perfect.
The train headed for Sunset City is flooded.
It's just shooting right out of his asshole.
We are
So
God, I just recommended this podcast to a friend yesterday, and I'm just like, God, I hope you're not listening right now.
all right. Well, we can't keep doing this forever. Let's quit mulling about. Yeah. Sandopolis. How we feel about that?
I am half and half on it. There's parts of it where I'm just like, hey, this is really neat, and you don't see a lot of Sonic levels like this. And then the other parts of it, I'm just like, I'm really glad we don't see other Sonic levels like this. It's I think it's creative.
Nice. Act 2, yeah, is definitely creative. I agree with you there.
I actually kind of like Act 2 a little bit more, believe it or not.
I actually do too. Yeah.
My kind of thing with Sandopolis.
Well, we know how
is
you
like-
feel about it.
No. My thing is like, can we do this again? Just different. Like, just don't do it this way, but like, like your concept is there and there's something to it, which I really like. Can we just make it a little less, shit?
I thought it was fine for what it was, but I mean, they did go back to this quite hard. A large chunk of Sonic Adventure 2 feels like Sandopolis to me.
But it's fair and fun and consistently paced.
Sure it is.
It is.
Buddy.
The atmosphere, you got ghosts, okay, I'll give you that, and there is a pyramid involved.
We're not getting into Sonic Adventure 2 right now. I don't want to hurt anybody's
We got the
feelings.
Batman ghosts though in Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Batman's parents are just around that fucking pyramid for some reason. I
a lot
like
of people
that.
don't talk Act 1 enough. I feel like
It's fun.
it
Act
makes me
1.
uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. Just the wavy lines. Like I feel like
Oh yeah,
just
no,
too
it
hot.
looks. I remember looking at Act 1 thinking, oh boy, I'm in for an interesting experience here. And then playing through it like, well, this is all very fair. This is all fine. The boss fight was also pretty cool. And then when I got to Act 2, I was like, oh, this is why people don't like this. Because it's one of those things where it's like Labyrinth Zone, but slightly better. But it's like they were like, this is Labyrinth 2. And not the fun Labyrinth that we had in Sonic 3. No. This is Sonic 1's Labyrinth, but like different and better, but still not nice.
Its soundtrack for that level is so very fitting and one I never want to listen to like on my own time. But then you go over to like Team Sonic Racing and like that remix is
Oh
just
yeah. It's like we're
amazing.
celebrating that infamous fucking area. Like, we need more like Sonic. No, we don't actually. But like, if we're gonna have any more Sonic historical celebrations, we need a little bit more Labyrinth representation.
I
don't
think I
mind
can
them
do
going
without
back.
that.
I'm fine with it. Well, no, like what I liked about early Sonic and whatever my misgivings of Sonic Adventure 2 aside, I do appreciate them, especially like I think about Ice Cap and just all the pyramid shit that they've used going forward.
Also,
I like
look
them
who's
going back
back.
to these themes. Yeah, he said that.
It's
And making the
he who
McDonald's jokes
poos.
we made. We already
Okay.
made the McDonald's jokes on air for you, sirs. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Got it.
They know you were taking a shit.
But I like that they go
Thanks,
back to
guys.
these themes and ideas, like this puzzly, trap-ridden ancient tomb, and they don't just abandon it because people whined about it from Sonic and Knuckles. I like that they keep going back to these ideas and kind of improve. Sure, I'll give you improving occasionally, Pup here, but going back and trying them out in different ways. So yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
hate
averse.
Sandopolis.
I'm not averse to them trying the idea again. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and there are fun concepts there. I like hey, trigger this sands to start falling so that like it's kind of like an auto scroll where you have to keep in pace with like the place filling up with sand as you're running through it. I like the light
Yeah.
and dark mechanic. It kind of gives you something to keep an eye out for throughout the whole level. And if you're paying enough attention, like you shouldn't have too much trouble with it, but it kind of still keeps you on your toes.
I feel like the light
You're
and dark
gonna
mechanic
die.
is.
Part 1. Yeah, your first time you're gonna die.
I feel like the
Something
light.
I was. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say,
Sirs.
I just feel like the light. I feel like the light and dark mechanic, as neat as it is, I think that it literally is just a retooled version of the breath mechanic for underwater.
Yeah.
It's the exact same mechanic, but we're not moving slowly, and we're looking for an item that is a little more visible than bubbles.
And the music
it's-
is less anxiety-inducing because it doesn't have a drowning music.
Yeah.
It still gives you a clever kind of anxiety. Like this, I mean, Sonic and Knuckles does not have any water in it, but they put all of that anxiety into this one level. That being said, though, if you miss the countdown, the ghosts aren't that hard to deal with.
That's true.
It's not
actually.
an
the
instant
instant
kill. It just
spirits.
Something I also
What?
kind of wanted to.
What?
We're all just talking over each other. Wayne, what did you say?
Said, please don't eat my ass, spirits.
Oh, don't
All right,
worry.
Bob,
got
your
pumped
turn.
for that.
That's what I'm here for. But so basically, what I was going to kind of say is like where I think Sandopolis gets it right, where Labyrinth didn't, is like especially also if you look at Marble Garden, which is my least favorite in Sonic 3. Those might be my least favorite levels, but they remember one thing, and that's to have lots of slopes and hills for Sonic to actually make use of his speed. You don't have that in levels like Labyrinth, except Act 3, but again, there's water, so you're not even in control of your speed there. Like, they do at least incorporate speed-related gameplay into it. It's got a good balance, which I do appreciate. Like, Sandopolis is my least favorite of Sonic and Knuckles, and if you put Sonic 3 and Knuckles together, then it's my least favorite there as well. But I really do respect what they were going for, and I do think it is an upgrade on the Labyrinth Zone concept. But I think the biggest thing with it is the time over screen. Like, that is what bugs me the most. Because it really is the definition of a labyrinth, there's a specific way out of this. And it's quite tricky to pinpoint.
Yeah, I can understand everybody being frustrated with it. I definitely had those frustrations as a kid.
Also,
If you're not
if you're
gonna
doing this on Sonic and Knuckles standalone, it's a lot worse because Sonic and Knuckles doesn't have a save feature by itself.
Yeah,
That's very true. Yeah, I will say this though, like if there's not going to be a save feature, I do appreciate that this level is number 3 and not like further down the line. Like I feel like this would have gotten Metropolis levels of hate if it was pushed towards the end of the adventure as opposed to where it is currently.
Get it out of the way quickly.
Do you think the reason for not having a save feature in Sonic and Knuckles might have been something to do with compatibility with Sonic 3? Maybe if they had a save
100%. Easily.
100%. Yeah.
So what if they did a re-release called Sonic and Knuckles and Save?
Sonic and Knuckles and save.
For those that didn't buy Sonic 3.
I mean, yeah, that's called the That's called the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection.
You're
That's
not
called
supposed to answer me with these
Sonic
things.
and
They're
Get Good.
rhetorical. They're fucking rhetorical.
Well, I
Not-
hate that.
And
not
I
rhetorical
gave you a
anymore.
rhetorical answer.
I know this is kind of a little off topic. I am so unbelievably furious that fucking collection doesn't allow you to combine the games.
Which one? The Genesis one?
Yeah, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, the 360 PS3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, fingers crossed that Sonic Origins will make it right. And I think they will. I think
Oh,
they
they
said
will,
they will,
yeah.
won't they?
I mean,
I'm glad the Steam version at least gives you the option.
Yeah,
the
and then
Steam
if you
version
get
combines
like
them.
if you get like the Nintendo Switch or like PS4 Genesis Classic Collection, you don't even get Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. That's the worst version of it.
I think we should probably talk about that stuff a little bit later on in the episode.
Collections.
But just going back to the levels itself, because we don't have too much to go through, but this is where things really start picking up. I really love Lava Reef. I really
do
really
too.
Oh,
love
Lava Reef
It's
is
especially
so cool.
awesome
I love
from
the-
like a storytelling perspective.
I also love the background music of Act 2.
Yeah,
that transition between Act 1 and Act 2 is something truly special.
it's something.
And it's still like a daunting part 1 and 2.
And the game is so good about that too. Is like just kind of differentiating the different versions of each stage, and you getting to see like a different side of it in each act. That's something I really love about this game. And yeah, no, it's just like seeing this like really this gorgeous like lit up version of this level that you were just running through. It is so cool.
I also like though that it answers where the Death Egg landed as well. You can see in the background the Death
Yeah.
Egg's face peering
It's
through.
ominous.
Dude, it looks
I-
like it's staring at you when it lights up.
I also wanted to like other things I love about it is how you can almost see like a prototype of the Eggman Robo Kaiju thing where you've got the
Yes.
fingers coming up as well. It's like a precursor to that final boss. It tells you the end is near, you know.
Yeah.
And it's an ominous level. It's but also I just want to point out to a lot of Sonic fans that throw their toys out of the pram every time there's an auto-scrolling segment. Lava Reef had an auto-scrolling segment and it was fine. It
was
needs to be
fucking
done.
incredible.
Yeah.
Lava
That
Reef's
was
great. Like
I don't really
It's-
mind auto scrolls when they're handled well, and I've seen them handled well often.
the main thing is just fucking forces and it's
Yeah,
and it's auto scroller stage because classic Sonic in that game feels like a piece of shit and has the most inaccurate jumps in the world. Auto scrollers when you've actually got the physics right are just fine.
Yeah, but it's not the entire level. I mean, it's part of the boss challenge. It's part 1 of this bigger boss fight than we've had before. Lava Reef, in terms of the background storytelling, has everything. Like the best parts of Sonic 3 are all in this level. It kind of like you start off in a fiery area that cools down, like the opposite effect. Like when you first started off with Angel Island, where you kind of go into a fiery area. Granted, you're in one by the end of the level with the boss fight, but
Yeah.
it kind of cools down. It's got that build up to the Death Egg like Launch Base did, but it's somehow more ominous than ever before. And like this time, like you're not there. You're you're not right next to it. You can't stop it. You have to watch it, come back to life. And then hell just catches on fire, and you're in the middle of this insane boss fight. Right after Knuckles definitively, knocked you on your ass at this point. Like, he has the high ground. Fucking awesome.
I just
I-
love how it's also like Robotnik is wrapping things up now. Like he's
yeah.
going into his end game effectively.
I do think that the lava in that stage is a bit of an eyesore, though. Like during that fight, it is a lot on your eyes.
I get that.
I mean, I kind of felt that way about the very first stage. I felt that way about Angel Island Zone in Sonic 3. Like as soon as the fire's on, and it's not as bad on a CRT. On a CRT, it's perfectly fine because it blurs everything together. And it's not as much of an issue, but it did kind of hurt my eyes playing it on the Steam version. I'm not
In
gonna
many
lie.
ways, the visuals were actually designed with CRTs in mind in a lot of these 16-bit games and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why I like scan lines sometimes. I know people act like that's a super pretentious thing, but I'm like, no, some graphics actually do get enhanced by it because they were
Then-
designed with that.
here's
Some
what
of
you
them
gotta do,
do.
Sega. You gotta delay
It's not
the
always,
Sonic,
but every once in a while.
delay the Sonic Origins collection, get the Sonic 2 HD team on it, and make them fucking make these games the most gorgeous they could ever possibly look. Because Sonic 2 HD is just, that's how a game should look.
I mean, they probably do. A lot of Sonic 2 HD's team is Sonic Mania's team.
I have heard, but it's just I wish they had that same art style as Sonic
Oh,
2
I'm not going
HD.
to argue that. I'm not going to argue that in the slightest. I love the idea of
That would
playing
be
the box art.
gorgeous. That would
For
be
fuck's sake.
beautiful.
We have the
Um,
capabilities. Play the box art.
We have
Can
the
we also
technology.
talk a little about Hidden Palace as well, which I think is interesting that it's like it's the third game in and they've dug up that old mysterious level from Sonic 2 in a by name only, effectively, because I'll say this. As far as the design and music of that goes, it's not as cool as the Sonic 2 version, but as far as a plot standpoint is concerned, oh yeah, this is a playable cutscene if ever there was one. We've got that little pushover Knuckles boss fight, that nice artwork that I only really realized when Nick brought it up in his Sonic 3 and Knuckles movie.
Oh, the mural.
Yeah, the mural with like a Sonic owl fighting up against the Death Egg robot
I've
thing.
been surprised, like how many people have completely missed that when it's like the centerpiece of that.
I loosely noticed it, but I was more focused on beating up Knuckles and how
That's fair.
I think
nerfed
it's
that poor guy was.
I think it's also like when you compare the actual attention giving to the mural in this game versus the attention that's given in, say, like Sonic Adventure. It feels like in Sonic Adventure they're like, okay, here's Sonic staring at this, asking questions, whereas in this game it's more like this is the backdrop of a boss fight, and you may or may not pay attention to it.
Yeah. I also just love that this is also the turning point for Knuckles as well. Like the story-related stuff of just the three of them chasing down Dr. Robotnik now kind of united as like a team. I love that. That's a historical moment in the Sonic series.
I like that little moment where they kind of fall down there, and before anything else happens, you just kind of see Knuckles like go. He kind of separates himself from Sonic and Tails for just a split second, and you just kind of see him looking at the ground, thinking. It's just him kind of contemplating everything that's gone down, and him kind of coming to terms with, the reality of everything, and then him just kind of like trying to keep himself together and act super cool as he's just like, you know what, follow me, let me punch this wall down. And then like because he's like, he's trying to come off as super collected and super capable and everything, even though like he just got like the life shocked out of him by Eggman. And then 2 seconds later, like you move over to that frame and he's just collapsed. Like man's exhausted. He was putting up a front, like trying to seem capable, and like he's on his last legs, and he's relying on you entirely to help.
Considering how limited the storytelling was, there was definitely a certain degree of depth to Knuckles' character.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the subtle storytelling things. Every time he hopped off screen prior to that point, he was just out of sight. He just dipped off somewhere. And this is the first
I'm
time. Yeah, for the first time, you transition like to over the next screen. Yeah, he's collapsed. Like he can't do shit anymore. He's
Kind of
at his
the
limit
first
there.
time, if you're playing as just as Sonic, it's the first time you actually see him have weakness.
Yeah, and somebody pointed this out in the comments back on my old videos too. But like Sky Sanctuary, the next level, when he hops off screen, instead of destroying a bridge, he's extending one for you. Like, yeah, that's completely transition into not even like a friendship at this point yet, but he understands that he screwed up and he needs help from this person he's been trying to kill for this entire adventure.
When it comes to Sky Sanctuary, then, I want to make a quick retrospective comparison here. And I promise I won't go on too much of a tangent here, but I want to talk about what made Sky Sanctuary so great in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and how Sonic Generations in no way recaptured that. Because what made Sky Sanctuary so incredible was it was effectively a playable cutscene. There's a lot of story stuff going on. Not only that, the reprisal of Eggman's own old inventions being used by the Mecha Sonic. Generations version has none of that, but I do want to praise Generations in this way, in that it was the first time we'd had a fully platformer-centric stage for that modern Sonic style of gameplay, and it is still one of my favorite 3D Sonic stages ever. I think like modern Sky Sanctuary and stuff is so well designed that I'm almost kind of not mad that it feels like they almost kind of missed the point of what made the stage special.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it just fine in Generations. I didn't. I mean, obviously, it wasn't gonna have the same impact as the original level for what it meant for the story at that point, and still managed to have like a lot of fun, goofy little mechanics in there going forward. And I like how many safety nets there are up there. Like, there's so many times where I was like, I hopped off, I felt like I was going to die, but nope, there's another
Yeah, there's
platform there, or a jumpy
or a little
cloud or something.
gust. Like that's what I love.
Yeah,
Is like it
gust, yeah.
doesn't suffer from the Wing Fortress problem, where it's like bottomless pit the level. Like
It's also the
it
flying
actually-
battery zone problem too, where it's just like, oh, okay, I made one mistake. Guess I'll die.
But that's only on the bottom layer of flying battery, to be fair.
That's,
Whereas
that's
like
one section. Yeah.
Wing Fortress, the entire thing is like you could fall down a bottomless pit at any given moment. So it's like, yeah, it's worth noting definitely where like Sonic 3 made big leaps and bounds over Sonic 2. So fuck you, Gilly. I'm just kidding. No, we love
Oh
you,
my
Gilly.
god.
But yeah, no, Sky Sanctuary is just fantastic. And I remember just the sheer excitement of seeing these old Robotnik machines come back. And it's like, I don't think reprising those machines has ever had quite the same impact as it does here, particularly when there's someone else piloting them as well. Like when it's not Robotnik in there, it's Mechasonic.
I mean, a lot of the problem people have nowadays with repurposing a lot of these old mechanics is that, like, that's usually the end boss fight. Like, Sonic 4 is basically just a repeat of this stuff. And if you played these before, you've already mastered a lot of this shit. When it showed up in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, this was here to... I mean, they weren't even, like, end boss fights. There's, like, 3 separate boss fights leading up to this point, and it's just one act. And they're all just revisions of what you've dealt with before. I felt like, to me, it was representing, like, yeah, you've done this before. We have come a long way since the first game. Like, look how much we've grown from this, the swinging ball and chain.
Look how much this is blown up in a way. Like, and also just, it also screams like, Robotnik's not even here to deal with you. He hasn't made a special mech to deal with you right now. You're literally not in his mind at this point. Like, Mechasonic is taking it from here. He's using old machines. It's like the ultimate fuck you to Sonic and his friends. Is just like, you are so unimportant to Robotnik now. He's won, and now, you're the scraps for Mechasonic and just a few scrappy old machines.
And again, like, Mechasonic is another repurposed old fight, which is actually easier now because he doesn't have the bullshit spikes shooting out of everywhere, and you have rings you can fight him with.
He's also
having
not got
rings
razor
kind of
blade on
helps
his
a
back.
lot on here.
Yeah, and also he just looks fucking beautiful. Holy
Again, the
shit, I love
difficulty.
Mechasonic.
Again, the difficulty in 3 and Knuckles much more fair than 2.
Can I just say that it's just on the design of Mechasonic? My first time seeing Mechasonic was in Super Mario Brothers Z. So like seeing him in this game, and like as a kid, I didn't know that he was there because I never got this far as a kid. I'm just like, oh god, no, not him. This man can kill us all.
I want to see this guy come back as well, more than I want to see another Metal Sonic reprisal. Like, Mechasonic was a scary looking thing.
He was truly intimidating. And I did love, like, I mean, obviously I played through as Knuckles first, but like going with the perspective, like if you played Sonic first and you don't see him actually be destroyed, like it's so spine chilling. Just imagine going through as Knuckles and like, oh shit, he's back and he's sturdy and he's terrifying. Oh, and he has got a super form. You don't. Have fun. It's fucking amazing, man.
And he's shooting out things that
Mechasonic.
look like rings at you, and it's like, oh, hello, oh, no, that's dangerous.
Which it's
That
always
one's
made me
hard.
wonder. It's made me wonder about the relation between Chaos Emeralds, their own energy, and rings in general. And I mean, that's a bigger discussion in terms of Sonic world lore.
Well, I mean,
But-
you see, when the Master Emerald birthed out the bees that created the rings.
I swear to God.
They don't come from the Master Emerald, they're just bees, okay?
Finish the statement, Wayne. Finish the rest of the
So-
theory. We need something to talk about for the next
Well, no,
year.
for fuck's sake, shut up. But like the next game, and this really did kind of bum me out because like there's a lot of story that a lot of the Western audience didn't get because it wasn't in the Japanese, like because they were in the Japanese manuals. But I wish they expanded along this stuff because it was really cool. And the Master Emerald was first time a lot of us started questioning, like, okay, like this is bigger than just, silly game mechanics. These are just more. There's more here than just collectibles, because that's how you saw a lot of this stuff as a kid. And a lot of developers did too. Like, rings are just here because Mario collects coins, and this is here for game mechanics. It's not here for world building. And then they started transforming it into world building. And then Chaotix comes around and says, okay, the Master Emerald is so fucking powerful that the pillar that it sits on actually generates its own chaos rings. And because the island made contact with the ocean below, it forced another island to just come out of the ocean. Like, there's so much potential there. And I thought about that when I first saw Super Mecha Sonic, because like when he does shoot things out, like those are rings, but maybe it's like through corrupted energy. Like, is this how rings are formed? Is this why when you have rings as a super form, like it generates that power? Like you need to keep collecting rings because they're all connected. I don't know. I was just rambling.
Mecha Sonic has bees in him, confirmed.
I just love. God damn you! I love how many questions this game made me think about in terms of this world.
Yeah, when you start looking at it from the perspective of everything has a plot explanation, as opposed to this is just a game mechanic because it's a video game, it raises a lot of questions, and it makes for interesting discussion, because when you're sitting there thinking like, wait, are all rings just like Master Emerald cast off? And if that's the case, is there an infinite number of them? Like, what happens in the case where like the Master Emerald manages to run out of energy? Does the world just no longer have rings? What kind of implications does that have for this world when and if this happens? What happens to the Chaos Emeralds if and when that happens? Like, there's a lot of like underlying stuff that just gets brought to the forefront when you start
Suris,
bringing that in.
Are
What?
you fucking eating?
No, why?
Okay. I just had my suspicions.
I
Anyways,
mean, even if I was, would it matter?
Ben's allowed to eat.
Yes.
Dinner time was an hour and 40 minutes ago, okay?
No,
I
no
don't
food.
bring it up on air, but god damn it, I fucking hate it when people eat on podcasts, and I hear you, you, sir, specifically, I hear you just stuffing your fucking face on occasion on a goddamn show.
That made it all worthwhile.
Happy to infuriate you.
But yeah, no, Sonic 3 is pretty good, isn't it?
I'm gonna go grab a snack real quick, guys.
You!
Wayne is canceled.
No, not again.
I feel like, the next logical step forward from like Sonic 3, if they were to do a Sonic 4, a proper one, would be to have Robotnik create a contraption that allows him to go super. Like, I feel like something we've not touched on enough in Sonic games is villains having super forms. Like, imagine a final boss of like a Sonic 4 being super Robotnik. I feel like he'd just be butt-ass naked, and that would...
I could just imagine him doing so you know how when you're playing as Eggman in Sonic Chronicles, how his attack is just throwing wrenches at people? I'm just imagining like a super Robotnik just chucking wrenches at you at lightning speed.
So I've always felt what a super Robotnik would be was kind of represented in this game with the Death Egg robot. So much of Robotnik's identity is built into his robots. I mean, he's always incorporated Emerald power into something or another, and it's more than just the Death Egg. It's a souped up version of a mech that is styled around him. And
well, what I was thinking is, rather than it being a part of a giant mech or something, it's more like Robotnik's got an exoskeleton on that incorporates the emeralds, basically.
Iron Man Robotnik.
There's minimal actual contraption going on. It's just Robotnik now in the super form.
Yeah, but I feel like that disassociation with the natural energy of this world is what made Robotnik interesting in terms of a villain, because he does. I don't. How do I explain this? This is one of those things I would need to script. I think that there's a disconnect between him and the natural world, where Sonic obviously is much more attuned to how this world works. I mean, the environment around him, it looks like creatures evolved to move around this environment. I've said all this shit before. and he looks like he's just defending his world because he just vibes with it. And Robotnik doesn't quite understand it, and this is how he's going to incorporate it into himself because he could not naturally attune himself to the chaos power to get his own super form. I'm rambling a little bit. This is one of those things where I'd like to have a script in front of me to elaborate a little bit better, but am I making any kind of sense there?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I think you could still find a middle ground, like, and not
Sure.
just putting emeralds into robots and stuff. Like, I feel like it'd be more like the final boss. Like, all of Robotnik's toys and stuff have been destroyed. Like, you could have a Sonic game focused more on a Robotnik that's got nothing to lose at this point. And there are
so
other
Sonic Breath of the
challenges, like-
Wild.
Okay, so Sonic Breath of the Wild, but I'm not talking about fucking Sonic Frontiers. I'm talking about a potential Sonic 4.
No, I'm meaning like that's literally the way that Ganon is shown to us in that game. Like, this is a Ganon that's got nothing to lose. He's given up on
Yeah.
reincarnation.
Okay, look, villains have nothing to lose.
game to show a
There it is. There it is. But that's the thing, is often in Sonic games, Robotnik as the final boss is like, hi, I'm Cock Big Robotnik. I've got all my mechs. This is my biggest one yet. If we had a final boss that was like, I got no mech, but I got Chaos Emeralds, bitch. Let's fight.
If you're worried about the Chaos Emerald, Sonic, I have one.
You
Right
destroyed
here.
my mech. You
I
destroyed it.
suppose so, but again, like, this is what I love about Robotnik is like when you strip away all these big, crazy, bad robots that he has, he runs like a coward. Like, none of that genius saves him. That's something we consistently see.
Well, that's
when...
the thing, is you could have that cutscene where Sonic's chasing after Robotnik and Robotnik's somehow outrunning him, like, as per tradition with Sonic final bosses in the classic series. But then he stops and sees the Chaos Emeralds. Is like,
my point
super
is, he's not the type of character to... He just sees these as batteries more than anything else. Like, he doesn't see himself as, like, the physical, like, embodiment that's going to take things down. Like, because, I mean, we see how he reacts when he is desperate.
Yeah.
He runs like a coward. And, like, at the end of this game, the super form I see is the Death Egg robot. And when that is ripped apart, he just jets off in a smaller one, still trying to run off with the emerald. Like, he has it literally in his hands. And the only thing he can think to do with it is run from the fastest thing alive. I love it. There's just so much
it's
subtext.
kind of
I
like
mean-
you almost don't want to see him like make some big transformation. It'd be kind of weird, like as if you played like a Batman game where you're dealing with the Joker, whose main weapon is using people and his intellect against you, and then he would do something weird, like, I don't know, maybe inject himself with some kind of serum that turns him into a nightmarish monster. But that's only a kind of final boss a hack would create.
something that could be potentially quite funny for, like, I don't know, a Sonic Prime or Sonic Movie 2 would be if Robotnik happens and stumbles across a Chaos Emerald in the midst of, like, a final battle, and you think, oh, he's going to harness its power, but instead Robotnik just decides to lob it at Sonic's head like it's a rock.
That'd
You know
be funny,
what?
actually.
I will say this though, there's two ways they could take that. The one way is if Eggman were to absorb like chaos energy and get a super form, there would be no way the series walks back from that. Like,
Well, yeah, I feel like that would have to be the finale.
like that's okay. There is no way that you go, oh, as soon, like the minute that Eggman realizes that, oh, I could just shove these emeralds on my nipples and become a god. Like, as soon as that happens,
Oh, we're on the
That's it.
same page about the emerald nipples there. Okay, that's interesting.
but the other half of this though is there's another way to take it as well, and it's showing Eggman's hubris. There's a thing that happens in, and this is going to be where Pup goes, I can check it off my bingo. There's a thing
Here
that
we
happens
go.
in IDW.
IDW, there
Yep.
it is.
There's a thing that happens in IDW where Dr. Starline is having a conversation with Eggman, and he goes, but the metal virus worked. We could do that. We just have to perfect the formula. Why wouldn't we just do that? It obviously did what it needed to do, and it took Supersonic and a person who's literally not going to be here anymore to take care of it. Why would we not just revisit and perfect that plan? And Eggman's like, nope, the moment's passed.
So basically,
You got that wrong. He's talking about
basically-
Super Metal Sonic at that point, but yeah, I get you.
Okay, so basically, Dr. Robotnik and Starline's conversation there is a social narrative on how Sega treats Sonic concepts.
A lot of that is Ian Flynn's work. Is
Why not
a lot of
just-
Starline is there to like kind of address, like from like taking a step back and addressing like the relationship between Sonic and Eggman and
So
like the flaws when you're not involved with it. Yeah,
Robotnik is Takeshi Iizuka, and Starline is the fans.
you're not wrong. There's a lot of subtext there. You could even say meta narrative.
Right, that's it.
Kill
I'm
me.
fucking leaving.
Yep,
I don't
that's
care
it.
if the train hasn't stopped yet. It's moving slow enough. I can just jump
Maybe
out.
that's actually how you should use the term meta instead of just they referenced the thing said in social media. Anyway,
I wonder if people who say meta in that particular way know that it means like most effective tactic available. And
it's
So let's-
don't
let's talk about the Death Egg. So we finally get a proper Death Egg level after Sonic 2 basically just farted out its Death Egg.
Yeah, that's also something I greatly appreciated, was actually seeing the inner workings of this thing, because I wasn't super aware of Star Wars and how they rolled. So Death Egg was my first experience with this whole concept, and yeah, man, that was a little nightmare world. I loved it.
It wasn't that difficult as a level though. Like I definitely would say that Death Egg is easier than Wing Fortress and Scrap Brain.
I remembered my other point of reference between this and SA2, Crazy Gadget.
Oh yeah, because you got anti-gravity and shit, haven't you?
yeah,
Yeah, they took a lot of stuff from Sonic 3 Knuckles and put it into Sonic Adventure 2. It's
Yes,
almost as if everyone likes just what. Fuck, man. Fuck, I love this series. Anyway.
Yes, but hello. Sonic 4 Episode 2 actually pays big homage to the Death Egg. You see,
Dude, you
I
know
think-
what though?
I think
That
that
last
Death Egg-
fucking level in act or part 2 was fucking rad. I don't care
I
what anybody
think-
says.
I think that Death Egg in in Sonic 4 Episode 2 might be inspired by the Death Egg from Sonic 3. No, but I will say this from an art design perspective. Oh my god, Death Egg 2 looked gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the very idea of it. I really wish we'd gotten episode 3.
But I mean, the anti-gravity didn't do anything, and it was like the easiest level ever. Like,
It was in this game?
no, in Sonic 4 Episode 2, Death Egg 2 was really easy. It was
Oh
more
yeah,
of a
I
playable
don't
cutscene.
remember it. I just remember the race of Metal Sonic and the heart.
Oh
boss,
yeah,
which
and the
was
whole
fucking cool.
idea that like fighting the heart of the Death Egg was a really cool idea, and like Metal Sonic and Dr. Eggman fucking double team Bukaki partying Sonic and Tails was great. Why did they
Yeah,
not try
super
that
hot.
earlier?
God,
Anyways,
I think I've read that fanfic on Mobius Unleashed at least once.
Death Egg cool. I also Forces did a really nice job bringing this design to life.
I do
completely
have to agree with that. I liked the Death Egg in Sonic Forces,
It was
especially
the highlight, I'd say.
it definitely was. It's one of those things like it shouldn't have been the highlight. You know that the game just had it in there as an homage, and they wanted like the final battle against Infinite with the sun. Well, it wasn't even
With, like,
against
it's
Infinite.
giant
Hello,
armies
Sonic
that
fans.
move at like a frame per second.
Yeah, like it
Hello.
wanted that to be the big thing, but just no.
Hello, Sonic fans. Remember this thing that was from the old game? This is this thing that was also from the old game. You like this game now. Yes.
Here's a Death Egg robot.
We're
Except
serving you
Alright,
member berries for breakfast again.
Hmm.
I think I'm finally coming around to like the lost potential of Forces. I think there was some cool
Hey!
ideas if they had treated it like a Generations 2.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's not dwell on that right
We are
now.
here
Let's
to
finish
talk
up the
about-
good game.
An inferior game called Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And I accidentally slammed the fridge door on my finger while I said that.
You slammed
that's
your
what
penis
happens,
in
you
the car door.
Inferior dog.
I
That's
slammed
not
my
true.
penis
Dogs
in the
aren't
car
inferior.
door. Dogs are superior. Sonic 3 and
Um,
dogs. Now that would be a game. No, dude, imagine. It's
I have-
literally Sonic 3 and Knuckles, except dogs just chase after you the entire game. They don't even
I
hurt you, like
have-
Amy.
A list of games all about playing dogs or being involved with dogs in some form or fashion, because dogs are great.
Well, it's also like the
Anyway.
good life where you can transform into a dog to take a piss. And
Or-
once again, I'm asking, would you accept that ability if it meant you could take a piss anywhere, but you cannot piss as a human?
No. Or A Dog's Life where you have to put in a combo to take a shit.
Why is dog
there's, like,
media
big
so
dramatic
crap?
music.
Like dogs are great, but like dog movies and
Dog's
stuff are
Life
crap.
is awesome. Oh, they're too fucking corny. They're garbage. But we're talking too much about dogs. Anyway, yeah. Death Egg. I thought this was a nice, challenging final set of acts here. I had a lot of troubles with these as a kid, but I feel like it was well deserved at this point.
Do you think when Daffy Duck slammed his penis in the car door, do you think he did it deliberately? Because I think he did.
I think he did.
He sounds proud the way he says it. He's like, I
He-
slammed my penis in the car door.
He did it deliberately because he wanted to have a special moment with Parappa the Rapper in the hospital afterwards.
Do you think Parappa the Rapper's a nice dude?
I think so.
I thought
I
I
think-
had ADD. For God's sakes, boys.
I think he's friendly.
So anyway, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is cool.
If I could
Um,
talk to him, I reckon he'd be really nice.
I had a great joke that I cut out of my big video because I was just too tired. But
I
I
did a big video on Big the Cat.
sure did, buddy. But I said like, oh shit, Mecha Krakow is here. I was like, nobody's gonna get Kirby references. But I just cut it out. I was too tired at that point, and my computer was running like shit.
Game
That
Apologist
mini
Big the
boss
Cat.
just stressed the shit out of me as a kid.
According to the YouTube search, you haven't made a video on Big the Cat. You let me down.
I'm gonna give up talking about this game because none of you can just keep focused for fuck's sake. What is happening?
Let's talk about
trying
Sonic
to.
Adventure 2, the superior game. No, I'm just
Oh
messing
my
with you.
god.
I mean, it is, but like, we're not going to talk about that today.
So
yeah,
what
like,
what else do we want to talk about for the game?
Well, we got the Death Egg and the
we got
the
Doomsday Zone.
Kyodai, the Kyodai
Yeah.
Eggman Robo with his fingers of death. Me and Wayne, but like,
Yes, the Deathwing boss fight from World of Warcraft, except it's a robot.
you're such a fucking nerd.
Yep.
Did anybody else have challenges with the second wave of the Death Egg robot fight where he's just shooting
What,
fire
where
at
you're
you and
running away
chasing?
when his little fire sneeze.
That took me a little while to figure out what the fuck to do. When I was
It
a
does,
kid.
but I would
Yeah.
again say it is easily the tamest final boss of the trilogy. Actually, no. Actually, the piston boss from Sonic 1's easier.
Piston
like-
boss is easier, yeah.
But I'd
think it-
definitely say the Kyodai Egg Robo is much easier than the Death Egg Robot.
I think it's like it's one of those things like have you fought a Metroid boss before? Okay, this will be a little easier for you.
I mean, the difference there is you have rings this time around.
Thank
if you
you
threw in
for
like
that.
3 rings for Sonic 2, I don't think that'd even be part of the discussion at this point.
It's kind of weird. Like I'm gonna say it this way. It feels like they were a lot more confident in this game when they didn't decide that the way to amp up difficulty for a boss fight was to just make you do it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
agree
agree.
with that. it's nicer this way. It's better this way. I'll say this though. Doomsday Zone is fucking difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah. It took me a little while to figure out what the fuck I was doing as a kid there. My first time through, it took me a very long time to realize that I had to kind of kick my ass through the asteroids. And by the time I figured that out, like, yeah, I was desperately low on rings and getting really stressed out.
Yeah,
Then I
the
finally
boost
realized.
thing as well, like how that eats up rings. Just gonna say though, before I just want to preempt the inevitable chat that will be like, "Well, I beat it first try, no sweat."
Cool.
Who cares?
It's inevitable. We get
I
it.
don't
You got
care.
a big cock. Okay, we get it.
I do think it's also interesting that like this is there's a lot of people who have issues with like, oh, okay, so you have Supersonic in space as the final boss fight. How original. We've been doing that since Sonic Adventure 2. And then it's like, well, actually no, that's actually kind of much older than that, because that's the thing you do in this game. It's the first time they actually use it for the final boss fight.
What, space? Or as in like just being out in the vacuum space?
Supersonic in
The
space.
Supersonic
specifically.
fight.
Yeah.
The Supersonic boss fight
It
kicks
took
off
me
here.
it took me a while to figure out how to beat like the ship, like to like redirect his
Yeah.
rocket into his space.
Yeah.
I'm also going to straight up say this is the most worthwhile Supersonic prize compared to like 2 and, well, just 2 really. Because like in 2, okay, you unlock Supersonic. That's cool, little
Dude,
power up.
Supersonic's
Well,
just
this-
annoying in 2.
Well, in this, you get a whole ass extra final boss and a true ending. You know, like
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
world of difference.
Yeah, Supersonic wasn't really built with game mechanics in mind. That was just a reward at the end of Sonic 2. So I don't know why people just shit all over that occasionally. Like, well, I don't know how I feel about the game's not built with that in mind. Sonic 3 and Knuckles definitely has a lot more of super and hyper forms in mind when you're going through these games again, which I do
100%.
appreciate. And yeah, and incorporating it into like this secret final fight was awesome. And it's nice because it's not this pick or choose situation that you get with between classics or the adventure games, where yeah, you do get a secret final fight, and you also get to play it through the old levels again, giving you a reason to go back and just wreck shit this time.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
My first experience with the just having the super form in this game at all wasn't even me playing it. It was I was going to a camp for a week, and there was a kid in the seat in front of me with a Sega Nomad playing Sonic 3, and he had unlocked the super form going through just on the Nomad. I'm just like, that's a thing you can do. Like, I had no idea as a kid, because to me, like, Super Sonic was just a final boss thing. There's like, well, what? You can go through the whole game as Super Sonic? That's gnarly. That's weird.
That's
Wizard.
yeah.
Yeah, had to beat to it. Had to beat to it. I was a kid at the time too, so as the kids would say.
They would. I agree.
I swear to God.
But it is funny, like, how many of these things are like, because that's kind of a normal thing from gaming around that time in general. Is that like a lot of the stuff that was hidden behind skill-based unlockables like that, sometimes you just wouldn't see anything about it, because this was a lot of like pre-ubiquitousness of the internet. You would just kind of experience it through somebody else randomly and go,
Yeah.
oh shit, that's a thing.
Yeah, I'd always heard of Super Sonic, and there are a few things more satisfying than finally unlocking him for the first time, because it is such a badass upgrade, and you work so fucking hard for it. I take it for granted a lot these days, like how much work it took me to figure out and master the special stages of Sonic 3 Knuckles. To this day, I don't have Sonic 2's down to perfection. I get to the third one and get frustrated and say, fuck it, I'm not playing this way.
Now the Sonic 2 ones are based almost primarily on memory, whereas the ones here are based on reflexes.
Yeah, no, they've I just keep saying this about this game, like they really did learn all their lessons from the other games, and they used every little bit of this crazy beast that they created. They didn't leave anything on the editing floor, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's some spots we would see expanded on, like the snowboarding, but water came back. It was more fun than ever. The shields were expanded on, the super forms were expanded on, and the special stages, not only were they prettier and still doing this cool 3D effect showing off what Sonic could do, but they were way more fun. It's its own unique game within itself, entirely separate from whatever else you're doing. And fuck, I've said it before too, but like even the original special stage is reincorporated into a bonus stage. This smaller, more adaptable thing that makes way more sense than it did in the original game. I love this game. I fucking love this game so much. Time travel doesn't come back. There's that one thing.
It's weird for me, because I know that like we have the different perspectives here, because for you experience this as a whole package. For me, I've got like all these different fragments of this game scattered across the last 30 years that make up my experience of it, versus like this is how you experience the game as a whole, and then you experience, like, you have bigger chunks where this game's experience is concerned. I've got like these small.
Let me correct you. Let me correct you before you keep going there. I did not experience the complete final version the whole way through my first time. Not for the first few months even. Like I didn't get to rent stuff all the time. Like I got Sonic and Knuckles for a Christmas gift, and that's all I had for the longest time. And I wasn't super good at the game. Like I didn't beat that game for quite a long time. And even when I did beat the game, wasn't with emeralds. I can promise you that. Like a lot of this stuff was segmented for, I would say, even for a lot of us here who grew up with the Genesis, because it had so many different ways you could interact with it. And every time you try to experiment with it, it would kind of blow up from there. Like, oh, well, Tails didn't have a super form before. He doesn't have it in 3 either. But does he have one if you have super emeralds? Oh, you do. but you can only get it in the Sonic and Knuckles version after you connect it with Sonic 3. And then after you beat the game, then you can go back and play with Super Tails in the Sonic 3 stages. Like, there's a lot of little stuff you can just, that makes you want to go back and experiment and play with a little bit more. And yeah, I think it's kind of meant to be segmented out because the game was literally segmented out.
Huh.
Is anybody else here? No? Okay.
You ever
Nope,
notice how
just you.
Bob Iger kind of looks like an action figure?
What?
You ever
What?
notice how Bob Iger, former Disney CEO, looks kind of like an action figure?
No, I did. Are you even paying attention to the conversation anymore, Pop?
Pay most of the attention. No, I'm fucking with you.
Oh
No,
my God.
like I know I feel you though, like because I mean I didn't experience it. I chose to experience it fragmented. To be honest, I knew Sonic 3 and Knuckles was out there on emulators, but I was like, I want to play Sonic 3 first, just as it were, and then I gave Sonic and Knuckles a try separately. And then just like, yeah, but Bob Iger does look like an action figure. If you ever look at him, the way his suits fit him, he looks like a doll, like a businessman doll.
Do you think if we put Pup on the rack, he would look like Stretch Armstrong?
I mean, Bob Chapek is quite a departure. He looks like kind of Michael Chiklis, but with Botox.
And if we took the rack off of you, Suris, would you look like Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that angle for that joke. God
The
damn it.
zing. Yeah. So that's Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I've skipped around here and there for myself personally because I've already done this a lot. Do you guys have any little final thoughts you want to kind of talk about in terms of this game?
A lot of it for me is like I feel like I still want to play through this game a couple of times because it's still so fresh to me, and like I haven't gotten a chance to sit down with it as much as the rest of you guys. I really just want to I want to take the time to sit down and experience more of it. I've loved being able to run through it the first time. I have not yet been able to get hypersonic. I've gotten close. But it's like mostly just trying to find like the extra stages in the second half and trying to get all that and everything. But it is an explorative platformer. It is a blast to play. It's got a nice little story to it. It is my favorite out of the original like 4 Sonic games, if we're counting CD, which I think deserves a place in that.
So.
Yeah.
I think so.
So it is a it's a great game. I think that each game stands out. It is as just a fun little time on their own, but when you slap them together and you play that as one big piece, it is something special.
Yeah.
Google Bob Iger right now and tell me the man doesn't look like an action figure.
So I've made my stance on this game obnoxiously clear. I have a career on YouTube talking about how much I love this game. Yeah, it's my favorite game of all time. I've got a bias towards it. I personally feel it is still the pinnacle of the Sonic franchise.
Let's be honest,
And
though. Is there a way to not have a bias towards a game that you either like or dislike? Like, I think that's kind of an impossible thing. Like, you always will have a bias, no matter what.
Yeah, and I bluntly say it. I think I've justified that bias very thoroughly. I made a career off of that. I still think a lot of the Sonic franchise can learn from the classics, and not in the ways that they've been using it with Green Hill over and over and over again. I still think we're waiting to capture some of that experience again, and I really hope Frontiers does it. I think we got close with the adventure titles and even a couple of the boost games, but this game is why I think Sonic should remain a AAA franchise. I don't think it deserves to be the AA status that it's been for a very, very fucking long time now. This game, like Mario does even today, everybody stopped and paid attention to what Sonic was doing, and this is the best of it as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think the series needs to fall back to the classic formula. I don't think it needs to go back to old designs. I love them, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't, but at the same time, like I said at the front of this game told me to expect better from video games, not just from Sonic. It told me that Nintendo does not need to be the say-all, end-all of video games. Said that we can do our own thing, and in some ways we can do it better. This for me, is one of the greatest games of all time.
So I haven't played a lot of 16-bit games, but of the few that I've played, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is definitely the biggest, the most epic, and the most cinematic of the bunch. And I think, it shows that they really took the 16-bit technology they had, pushed it to its absolute limit, and made an absolute blockbuster of a game. I want to see Sonic do that for new generations. I want to see them take console capabilities, push them, and make something that is truly breathtaking for what it's worth. And it's like, when people say, the new Sonic game is going to be more like the classics, as you say, I don't want that to just mean, oh, it's 2D, oh, it's got Green Hill and stuff. I want it to mean it's going to push the boundaries like classic Sonic did. Because this new Sonic we've got is not closer to classic Sonic. If anything, the adventure era is closer to classic Sonic because it operates under a similar philosophy. The new philosophy, not even remotely close.
Well, when we have statements like return to form, a gaming publisher or at least a marketing team, they think returning back to older game mechanics that people are nostalgic for. But a lot of times what most of us are nostalgic for is just the feeling of playing those older games. And some of that's not mapped to mechanics. A lot of that's mapped to scope and scale compared to what we've experienced before. And when it comes to a lot of 16-bit games, there are a few that have the same scope and scale of this. Like, obviously, there's exceptions, like stuff like Metroid, that is just massive compared to other things of its ilk at the time. And then RPGs, but that's its own thing. Like, this is, as far as platformers are concerned, an incredibly ambitious project for its time. And we just kind of want to see that again.
Classic Sonic was always about ambition. Like, even Sonic 1 was ambitious. And we just saw that ambition go up and up and up. And I think games like Sonic Forces and Sonic Lost World are a total departure from that philosophy. And that's what Sonic needs going forward, more than just little, nods to the past and stuff. It needs that attitude back. And I don't just mean Sonic being, attitudey and stuff. I mean the franchise in itself needs its confidence back. And yeah, yeah, that's it. But basically, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is definitely the peak of the classic Sonic era. And I think if they did make an organic Sonic 4, I don't think they could ever top this or make it bigger than this or more exciting, because the story's got so much going on and it feels like such a culmination. It almost feels like Sonic 1 was a deliberate first step in that story, even though it wasn't. They didn't know it was going to go to this, but it just explodes in this huge way. And Sonic 3 and Knuckles ends it with a bang. It feels like the end game event of the classic Sonic series. And it's just yeah, I don't see them going bigger than that with a sequel. Mania, kind of loosely, but it's not better or bigger, I would say.
Mania, I don't think Mania has the same scope.
It's not even trying to have the same scope.
Yeah.
But it's I'd like to see them try. I'd like to see them say, we're going to make a new classic Sonic game that will top Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I'd love it if they'd try it. I don't think they can. I really don't. Because Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles uniting for the first time is a moment in gaming history. Those are the trio, I think you can't necessarily top it with classic Sonic, but you can do things that capture that same essence and energy in the modern era. And I think, we have had something that I feel like carries over that same essence and energy and has managed to have the same historic significance. And that's, for example, the whole gang coming together at the end of Sonic Adventure 2. I feel like that has the same level of weight to it, even if in the greater gaming landscape it's not as highly recognized. But then again, Sonic 3 and Knuckles isn't as highly recognized as Sonic 2 in the greater gaming landscape. So, go figure. It's not always going to be the biggest thing that's the most talked about.
It's just because one sold better than the other. I'm a little bit more forgiving with the adventure games just because that's early 3D era. Adventure 1 specifically. But yeah, you're not wrong. All those games are built with the intention of showing off what Sega hardware can do. Going forward from there, Sonic's not doing that, obviously. Hero's going onward from there. And that'll be a bigger discussion as we get to those games, for sure.
I feel like Unleashed did it, but the problem with Unleashed was it came at the cost of a stable frame rate. And
well,
then,
I mean, that's a perfect example, though, isn't it? Because we finally have a console now. How many years later? Like a decade later, at the very least, that can finally show off what that game can do.
yeah, I've been playing Unleashed with the 60 FPS boost on the Xbox Series S, and I've been having a whale of a time with it. And I think Sonic 06 is another example of where they tried to make it so big that they flew too close to the sun and crashed and burned. But it's
Again,
like
we'll talk about those games another time. But
what I was
yeah.
kind of getting at is that it carries the essence of Sonic 3 and Knuckles more than a game like Sonic Forces or Sonic Lost World. I'm talking about kind of the essence of Sonic 3 and Knuckles and where it continues through the rest of the franchise and where it stops.
Yeah, I don't think that I've never been of the opinion that Sonic constantly needs to elevate. But I do wish that that level of care and quality, like if you're gonna copy anything from Mario, I really wish it would have been just the polish, that fucking polish, because Mario always comes out with a very clear intention. Like the weakest of those games are the spin-off party games, and even that has its own very prominent audience. But like the mainline stuff, like when 3D Mario comes out, everybody pays attention. And the 2D stuff just kind of coasted by because they knew what they were doing. Ain't no big deal. No big thing. We could just have a bunch of Mario stuff out because it's all high quality and everybody loves it. And that's always what I wanted for Sonic. And I thought that's the direction we were going with. That's what Forces was. I thought that was the intention of it, was like
They were kind of advertising that, but
yeah, it was like we're gonna bring in like the darker serious stuff that made us stand out from Mario when we first went 3D, and we'll tell more dramatic, bigger, crazier stories that were elevated, that started off with the classic games and the adventure games, because like that evolution is still going on. And Mania, we're confident in that stuff. We know what we're doing. It doesn't need to be a crazy epic story. It's lighthearted, it's fun, and it's its own thing. And that seemed like the obvious way to go. And who knows? Maybe that's what they're still doing. We'll see what Frontiers brings down the road. And despite the fact that Mania 2 is mysteriously not here, 2D Sonic's going to be back in some form or fashion. It's always been
please
around.
do it in a 2D game. Don't do it in a 3D game.
And at least we still know that Genesis Genesis what Nintendenesis.
Cock. Shall we do super chats?
I think we should.
I think
we
that'd be a
should.
good idea.
Okay. Scrolling up. Who's starting us off?
You are.
Okay. So Aiden F sends $5 and says Sigma males pronounce it Hydro Kitty. Happy Friday, gents.
I agree with this statement.
So many people standing Mega Man X enemies, man. I don't know what's going on these days. But yeah. We
you're get the fuck out.
It wasn't a great joke to begin with, but I'm tired of hearing about Sigma this and Sigma that.
Yeah, fair.
It's just
that like the
astrology
whole
for
point?
dude bros.
Isn't that the whole point? Is to be like, I don't care about what other people think of me.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like the whole?
like
premise of it?
the whole thing is, I think anyone that's ever antagonized about being an alpha male is definitely not an alpha male, if that's the case, because like it's supposed to mean confidence, and it's like if you're stressing about a fucking letter being attached to who you are, then trust me, you are not the top of the chain.
The
But
quality of your
anybody
character
being
will-
a Sigma male or saying that they are a Sigma male is the exact opposite of what I understand it to be, which is I don't give a fuck what other people think of me.
Yeah,
I
know,
cannot think of
it's
a
a
quicker way to say that than I have my own title for myself.
Look, we're
And-
aiming at your fucking beta male, okay? Just fucking go on the next super chat.
at the end of the day, it's like, man, the quality of your character will always speak for itself. If you have to defend it, then something's wrong.
Keep
I
saying that,
don't
beta
like
male.
being involved with the evolving slang of high schoolers, man. I just
Yeah.
Keep
God
telling
damn it.
yourself that, Wayne. You fucking omega male.
It is amazing
Omega's
how many.
a cool word.
Yeah, but omega male is like the worst one. It's someone that has completely given up all hope.
Oh my
over-
god, you genuinely follow all this bullshit.
I don't
you?
follow it. I don't. I
It's
only do it
it's
ironically.
astrology for dude bros. That's
Oh,
all
dude,
it is.
dude. I fucking hate astrology as well.
And
I fucking hate it.
yep.
Anyway,
Just read the fucking super chat.
Sony gave us 2 Canadian anuses. Just your weekly reminder to stay on Zavik.
I
Cringe
don't want to
before
hear.
him.
I don't want to hear anything more about IDW Zavok until I read the bloody comic. Okay.
Well,
Then read
then
the
read the
goddamn
bloody
Bloody
comic.
comic.
Listen, I'm not made of time. Okay. I'm not fucking.
You can
Sonic
do it
CD.
in an
I can just go to
afternoon.
the
I
past.
believe in you,
I
Pup.
have limited afternoons, you cuck. I had to fucking put
helped
time aside to
run
do this show.
A Sonic podcast.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to not
take
show
it.
up to the bloody podcast to read
You
comics
take
instead?
15 minutes a day, read a couple issues each. You'll be fine. They are
Do you
built
know how
for
many
kids to
other
understand.
comics I have to read? Do you know how many other things I have lined up?
Just add it to the pile.
I'm a
man.
very important man.
I'm assuming at least 3 lines of Coke.
Look, all I'm saying is Sonic comics are not a priority to me for now. Please accept that. I
What are you
want to
reading?
Pick them out.
Hold on.
They're just-
No. What are you reading?
What am I reading?
Yeah, what are
Yes.
you reading, Mr.
I'm
Big, super important comic reader?
I'm currently reading the control scheme on Halo Infinite right now, actually.
For
So I'm
fuck's
playing Halo Infinite. Like, I'm gaming right now, man. I'll get to
Dude,
comic
you
book-
could be gaming.
Dude, I was gaming. The next thing I'm reading is the Ultron saga in the Avengers comics. I'm about a couple of issues into that. I've got a few compendiums that I've been following, which is like the 80 years of Superman and 80 years of the Flash. Look, man, like I like Sonic from a gaming perspective. I also do like the comics. I'm not gonna say I don't. I do. I really do. I fucking bought the 30th anniversary book in the deluxe edition as well. So like, yeah, I do like it. But ultimately, when it comes to Sonic, I'm mainly just here for the games. I will get to the comics. They're just not a priority.
And in 3 years' time, we will have the same conversation again.
Yep.
In 3 years' time, we'll talk about fucking IDW Zavok, okay?
Anyway, so frickin' Dreamboatin' with 5 lines of crack that I desperately need to do to handle this show sometimes. Give me something to draw, you cowards.
Can you draw me marrying a gender bent Wayne because he refused to draw that himself?
No. Oh,
Can you also
full disclosure, I do not endorse these jokes. They've gotten out of hand.
can you also do Wayne but with like the design and personality of Rouge the Bat and
I
like
hate this.
Draw Pup
I
as
hate this
Zavik.
so much.
He's got the
Do
same
not-
color scheme.
Yep.
I don't have the
Zavik
same.
Pup.
I do, don't I?
Draw
Zavik
Pup
Pup.
as Zavik.
It
Zavik
was a
Pup.
it was a Spider-Man color scheme. Okay, that was what it was always intended to be.
No, it was time travel. It was Zavik first. Anyways.
If you look at the old Pup logo, that was a Spider-Man costume he was
He
wearing.
kind of does have like a bulldog kind of look to him, though. You could make a fun puppy Zavik.
Oh my
But
god!
you need to give him the cringeworthy mouth design that's
Make
not
his
that's
nose
disconnected from the
turquoised.
bottom jaw.
Oh my god! Why is this bullying happening? Oh no!
Oh my god, the person who sexually
Boo-hoo!
harasses Wayne all
Boo-hoo!
day is crying about bullying. Look at you.
That's not sexual harassment. That's called a relationship, Suris.
I do not consent.
And
Oh,
that
God.
makes it
He's-
harassment.
It's a multilingual relationship. I don't understand what he's saying.
Fucking damn it. Makes it so much worse.
Someone read the next super chat, okay? Suris stream, but oh, you've already.
I
read that.
already did that. You've
Then
paid
Wayne-
enough. You've paid as much attention to this as you do to the comics.
Then
Anyway,
Then
our pal
Mr.
Jamal,
Mr.
our pal Jamal Simmons with $5 dollars fucking currency. God damn it! Happy B Theory Day, everybody! Sorry, Happy B Theory Days, everybody! Nick Milk XL Suris Milk our cannon ship.
Hey.
Also, congratulations on the YouTube award, Nick. Keep up the great work, bro. Did you get a YouTube award?
Thank you, Jamal. Yeah,
he
I got
his
a
play button. I saw it on Facebook.
yeah.
You got a play button?
Mm-hmm.
I got a play button. I got the plaque. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking cool!
See, you could just
I've-
quit YouTube now because I would. If I got the plaque, I'd quit.
What? Why?
Once I
This
hit
You have to
is
go to the
dumb.
gold. You have to go to the gold plaque now.
No, once I hit 100k, I'm quitting. I'm done.
Bro, I'm going for the gold. I don't give a fuck.
Nah, I'm fucking retiring once I get the silver. Actually,
But
can you just give me yours?
anybody who's subscribed to my channel, sincerely, thank you. Thank you so much. It is
Also,
so nice to not be at a job I fucking despise, because that's been all my adult life.
4-bit Object 5 got my Smiling Friends reference. I appreciate that.
I need to watch more of
3D
that show.
Squelton can't see a reason
I
to
just
live.
don't have the time. I just don't have the time. Who's got the time?
I see what you're doing, and you're not
Yeah.
slick. All right, I fully understand you don't necessarily have the time. You've got a busy schedule. You're a grown adult. You're a married man. I get it. You don't have the time. I don't have the fucking time. Okay, so next up we have Cecilia the Gardevoir, who sends $5 just on my break, so only here a little. Have a good day, guys. My first experience with Classic was renting Mega Collection at the video store. You have a nice day, you special specimen.
I wonder when we're gonna get the folks that their first experience with the classic games are from the 360 collection, or hell, the Switch collection.
Or the
This
Origins
podcast is
collection
not
coming
for
up.
Oh, it's gonna
children.
happen.
Look, we're not fucking babysitters, all right? If you are a child, go away.
Oh my god.
After giving us your
children
lunch money.
probably shouldn't be watching this podcast.
My point is, I've always found it interesting because they always rehash these fucking games. So every generation has a chance to check them out one way or the other here. And I don't know, I always found it interesting listening to you guys talk about, like, I played the adventure games on my GameCube, and also we had a Mega Collection. And I feel like that's just hand in hand. Like, if you had Adventure 2, you probably had the Mega Collection. So I don't know, it's always fun to listen to people talk about their experiences.
Hello,
You know,
my name is
backwards.
Billy. My first experience with Sonic 1 was Sonic 4 Episode 1. It is my childhood, and I love it.
Anyway.
I think you just gave me the best argument for a lot of homicide.
I think you just gave me a tumor. So, Pup, it's your turn.
Is it? Is it my turn? No, it's not my turn.
Oh, did
I
you
already-
do Cecilia? You did. I apologize.
did. I read Cecilia. You have to read Triforce P. Nick, stop imparting things on me.
Triforce P is my favorite Zelda fetish. $5. Missed my connecting flight out of lax. But at least I get to watch Sunset City live while I wait for the next flight. Thanks for being there. #bees. Thanks for
Hey,
hanging out with us, Triforce.
it's what we do.
It sucks hanging out in an airport, especially during a fucking pandemic.
Yep.
It's what we do.
We are always here for you, at least on
Oh,
Fridays.
Dude, what is going on with your mic today, man?
Mine?
Am I the only one hearing it? Just go. Wow.
No,
that's
his
fine.
mic's
Fine to me.
fine, dude. His mic is
Okay,
fine.
I'm just crazy. I
He's
love my
tripping out.
internet.
Tripping the
I
fuck
love my
out.
internet.
Your internet's just like, and now you're screwed.
It's been wacky all day, as we all know. Suris, your turn.
Yep. So, okay. This one is from Satamni231. Thank you very much for the 1999 Sonic OCs made in Forces and Deviant Art. Which Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles compilation would you prefer and why? A. All levels in Mania style by the Whitehead team. B. All levels in Generation style by Sonic team. Or C. An HD remake with Sonic 3 and Knuckles level transitions by Dimps.
Whitehead.
I,
Don't let
Whitehead.
anybody else touch
One.
them.
That's all I say. Not the Dimps one.
I'm going to be honest. I think I have to be Whitehead too. Like
Wait, when we say done in Generations style, though, does that mean we also get a modern stage? Because if so, I'll take that.
I think at that point it would be like classic Sonic Generation style. So like,
I like the 3D look of, but I guess gameplay wise, maybe Whitehead. But I'm just saying, if we get a 3D one, I'll go with Sonic Team.
I'd even give the 3D one to Whitehead. Fuck it.
Yeah, I really want to say. I think we've talked about this before. I want to see like just kind of like the game design philosophy that they took for Sonic Mania, kind of adapting that that style of the original series, and see what they do with 3D stuff.
Yeah,
and make
That's
it
what
look
made
like
Adventures
it's
so fucking special to me, because it's still the original people that made those games, bringing that into 3D, and I fucking love how Sonic played in that game.
and make it look like it's on the Sega Saturn. Give us crunchy Sonic.
Or
I love
alternatively,
Crunchy
make
Sonic.
or alternatively, make it like a gorgeous fucking AAA thing like never before.
Nope, crunchy Sonic.
But yeah, I mean, we're deviating away from the original question here. Yeah, I mean that's a very fun question. Like B is very tempting for me. I love Generations, but fuck, man, God, I really, really love the idea Generations had. Just the core concept was everything I wanted as a Sonic fan, but gameplay's got to come first, man. And
You know, there's actually a fun middle ground between the two of those. Take the Mario Maker approach, where like it will run in both 16-bit and in 3D.
But they should have fucking done to begin with.
I mean,
Had
if they
this
made
conversation before.
a Sonic level maker game, that's it. They don't need to make any more Sonic games.
I mean, the Sonic Studio. I mean, I've been following him. His texture work alone is fucking phenomenal. Sonic Studio is gonna be amazing. That's gonna be one hell of a fan project when that finally drops.
Who's up? I think is it?
It should be me. It's me. With Jamal again, $5. Hey guys, what favorite levels you guys love from Sonic 3 and Knuckles? Ice Cap Zone is definitely a big one for me. I adore Ice Cap Zone, but also Lava Reef, like both acts.
Lava Reef is mine. Like just hands down, it's my favorite zone of that whole like duology of games.
Yeah.
I like the one with the water slides. So, yeah, the one
Hydro
whose name
Kitty.
we don't. Fun Labyrinth. That.
Hydro
Fun
Kitty zone.
Labyrinth.
Yeah,
Wacky
Fun
Waters
Labyrinth.
Adventure Park. That was the name of one we had over in Iowa. It closed down. They had like a pond, and apparently there were snapper turtles in it. I always looked for them, I could never find them. Anyway. Yeah, I mean I've said it before at some point on the show, I'm sure, but Sky Sanctuary is my favorite, hands down. I do like the mechanics of all the other levels, obviously, but just the impact that left for me, and I still think it's fun to play around in generally. Sky Sanctuary is my favorite.
Okay, that make Nick. I'm
That's my
struggling
turn?
to read. I'm struggling to read this word here. Could you? It's the evil.
The evil Dalek.
Okay. Right.
I
so-
know I struggled really bad that one time, but I promise you, I'm not usually a fucking idiot, so it's fine.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I'd never been so attracted to you as that
Quite.
day. But like,
It felt like a
I get it.
It felt like a linguistic betrayal.
I trade out my
off.
doodle
just
skills
get out. Get the
for my
fuck
music
out of here,
skills.
Wayne.
Look, all I'm
That's
saying is the
fucking funny
proper
if you know it.
the proper pronunciation was handed to you on a tray, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
All white
so-
people look the same. Anyway, your turn.
The question is, and I
I just
do-
let that slip through.
Anyone
there.
ever tell you look like Scott the Woz?
So the evil guy, the evil man, sends in 449. Thank you, and says, "What are you guys doing for Valentine's Day?" I'm stung by that, man. Like that hurts. Don't do that.
He doesn't know, does he know?
I don't think
That
he
you're
does.
single? And
Do I
lonely?
look like someone who's in a relationship? I talk about Sonic on Fridays.
I
I mean,
two of us are.
I mean, I'm married.
I've been with my partner for over 5 years.
Look, I'm not gay, all right?
Hey, I'm really sorry. This is completely off topic. Hey, do videos on Twitter auto replay?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to set something up for the stream later. I'm
That's-
paying attention, but
There's also more to this super chat as well. So,
Yeah,
shipping is a suggestion. Sally and Nick's relationship. What Sonic characters must you guys keep Pup away from?
all of them.
Every single one
please.
of them. They are
No
all
leg is safe.
they are all under threat.
Omega's not safe. Omega's got a nice robot pussy that like rotates. and shit. I want that Robusi. Also, the Chow. Oh my god, I need some juice.
Oh no.
Like-
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I think the chow looked delicious.
They are not Jello snacks.
They could
No,
they could
fuck Jello. They got like they must have like a light like.
dude dice them up and put them in a bag of
blueberry.
chow mix.
Remember
I mean,
when
they'd go.
sent us those images?
Why?
Remember when Gilly sent us those images of Chow? Like that was a good time. That was a really nice time that we had.
Oh, with the cream filling, yeah, those looked extra tasty.
Oh yeah,
Um,
good Chow indeed.
Oh my god, why?
We miss you, Gilly.
Anyway, for Valentine's Day, I asked my wife to date me the week after that, so we usually wait to do stuff, and now we have an actual wedding anniversary that we take care of. But I don't know, she still likes all the cute stuff, so I'll get her a couple things, but we'll probably just hang out and just watch some stuff, and I'll cook a steak. So that's
I
what
think
think-
I'll beat up some hookers in GTA 5.
perfect.
I think me and Raz are gonna play Monster Hunter.
Wallace,
Wayne,
Probably not doing much, man.
what
you
furry animal are you
can-
jerking off to?
What?
What?
Wallace, do you want to come to my place on Valentine's Day and
Monday.
Well, I
Maybe
guess
a
we should have
little
expected this. I don't know why I
canoodle,
set you up, Wayne.
play
I'm so
with my
sorry.
noodle?
That's
We can,
So, Suris,
we can
it's your
reenact
turn.
some
Yeah.
fun
Suris, it's
Mobius
your turn.
Unleashed
Suris,
moments.
it's your turn. Suris, it's your turn.
We can
Suris, it's your turn.
we can do the things that
Suris.
Knuckles and Rouge did off screen.
Suris, it's your turn.
I
I'm
can
calling a complaint.
I just literally I want to touch your intestines, man. I want to touch them. I think I can reach. I think I can.
Suris, it's your turn. Stop.
It's gonna be popping out of your mouth next, dude. Like seriously.
God, the next one
Wayne,
is
you're
from
gonna need another tombstone, man.
this
What the fuck?
Damn it.
I just have a drowning fetish, okay, dude? Just seriously.
This next one is from some dude called Game Apologist. How clear do I come through, though? Oh, I'm sorry, that's not the right one.
This one
is-
is quite a milky, kind of opaque, kind of. A
Wait, you
look to
guys
it.
didn't see it because it didn't send through. But I sent before that. Internet. So-
Who missed the J off of Who missed the J off of our pal's
Oh.
name?
from
Also-
Amal Sim. Sorry,
because
from,
that's dangerously close to a very hilarious name.
Animal.
from Jamal
Yeah,
Simmons
sure.
with 5 HR complaints about Pup. Do you think Sonic Friends will be in the next? Do you think Sonic's Friends will be in the next Sonic game because Sega doesn't show them any love? Why? I don't think they're going to be in. I think that Sega are cowards.
No, I think they'll be in it.
I think I'll be in it.
I think
What,
they'll
the-
stick
the
to
what
like.
They'll be in it, but
I
they'll
don't
do
know.
fuck all. It'll be like in literally every game
The-
they've appeared in recently.
They'll
They'll
be
be in
like,
it.
here's-
They'll do nothing.
They'll be like, here's Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, and there you go. Be happy. That's what I
Tails,
expect.
Knuckles, and Amy, I'd say are inevitable. But
I'm
like,
going
I
to-
think
I'm going to say something daring. I think we're going to get playable characters again.
Do you think we're going to get playable Tangle and Whisper?
I don't know. I imagine they'll either be DLC or cameos at the most, if anything, or just a reference. I think there'll be Easter eggs for them. I think that's what we'll get.
I'm gonna say something daring.
Do it.
Wayne, please. It's been 15 years since I got any action, man.
So-
Please, I need this, man. Please.
So anyway, I mean, we don't know a lot about this game yet, but I mean, the reason why the friends went away to begin with is because, yeah, I do have love for them too, but a lot of it just wasn't really Sonic gameplay. I imagine if they do anything with them, they'll bring back Tails and Knuckles and let them explore the open world in unique ways. I hope. We don't know anything one way or the other, but that's my hope. So Jamal, we don't know, but I would like them back. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, that means you're up,
That
like
wait.
me, Wallace.
That Jordo with 6.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
$6.90. Congrats on the 100K, Nick.
No, that's not
Nilk.
what. There you go.
There you go. Your name is Nilk now. That's funny.
Thanks.
You're
Thank
funny.
you, Jordo.
You're something of a nilf.
You're part of that 100K. So thank you, because that number exists because you guys exist. So thank you. It
You're
means the world to
something
me.
of a nilf yourself.
That means
Yeah.
it's my turn.
Yep.
Astonishing REDD sends in $9 I'm not doing the currency thing anymore, okay? With all the open world games we're getting this year, such as Arceus, Elden Ring, Horizon, God of War, and even Zelda, do you think open world burnout will affect Frontier's sales and reception? And my answer to that is it
Nope.
depends how well it's done. If it's not done well, then maybe. But like, as long as they're doing them well, I think the fatigue will be far away.
I think that personally, I don't think open world fatigue is going to set in the same way that first person shooter fatigue did, because with FPS fatigue, we got stuff like hallway shooters where just like things got boiled down to their absolute like nonsense bits. With open world, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. As long as the game's good, I think it'll be fine.
So
Yeah.
the thing with everything that you listed here is that these are all established franchises. The only one here that has not tried it to such an extent before is Pokemon, which came out today. And all the praise I'm seeing about the game, absolutely not a fucking bit of it comes down to that map. That map sounds like everything we were worried about. It's boring, it's tedious, it's ugly. That's what I'm seeing from it. I'm gonna play it for myself. I'll get my own opinion, but
I'll also be playing it myself later today.
he'll be streaming
on
Twitch, okay.
twitch.tv/Wayne is boss.
I just put up
But-
a thing on Twitter for that.
So anyway, just to continue on with my point there, I mean, as everyone likes to keep reminding us, Zelda wasn't the first open world game out there, except technically.
It
Well,
was.
no,
it
it
did.
still wouldn't be. The original NES game is very.
I will say the original NES game still didn't start that. I've looked into it, and it didn't quite invent the formula. I mean, technically, Hydlide did it first before that. If we want to get
Right.
technical,
I think provided that Sonic handles well in Frontiers, I think it should be a slam dunk, you know?
It's,
As the kids say,
I mean,
pretty
well,
wizard.
let's keep in mind that people have been talking about comic book movie fatigue for forever, and Spider-Man just made like almost all the money in the world a couple months, like a month
To
ago.
be
So
fair,
I
though,
think it'll be
outside
fine.
of Spider-Man, I'm feeling comic book fatigue, and I'm a comic book guy.
I
So
keep
let me-
feeling it until I watch one of them, I guess is my point.
Here's my thing. It's not a fatigue problem anymore. It's that this is a thoroughly fleshed out genre at this point, and you can't risk fucking up. That is what Sonic needs to be concerned with. Everybody else is doing open world, and everything you listed has done it before successfully. Elden Ring is gonna be a little bit more open than the other Dark Souls games, but they basically are open, honestly. Horizon's just a sequel to like the prettiest. I'd say it's probably the most boring of the open world games, but it's like the highest quality of those traditional open world games. God of War is gonna be God of War, and Zelda, which kind of helped reignite this. All of this is coming out this year, so it's kind of it's not fatigue, man. It's if Sonic fucks up. That's what we need to worry about. If he fucks up in the slightest, you can't come into this market with even an okay game, because Sonic has constantly come into the market with okay games. And yes, I know a lot of people love Unleashed, but it came out long after God of War and Devil May Cry did that combat way better. And nobody wanted to talk about the Werehog, regardless of how okay it is. So yeah, it's I hate to say it, but yeah, Sonic Frontiers really is going to have to hit it out of the park if it wants to stand out, because it's going into a very crowded part of the gaming world right now.
Yep.
What's next? Who's next?
Nick is next with Letteric.
Ledric
The
again,
NFT
man. I'm so I don't know. Jesus Christ! Thank you for the $50 again. You think Knuckles glides by punching hard in a direction, like how Thor flies by riding his hammer? Well, that's the best explanation I've ever gotten for that. So
Yeah,
yes.
I think
the way Hulk-
official.
The dreadlocks doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the
That's the way Hulk
catching
does it
wind.
in Ultimate Destruction. So I'm willing to roll with it.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'd bloody take it. But then should he not be able to fly up as well?
You know what? That's a good point. Now I'm thinking about it, because I know you just did Ultimate Destruction. Sonic needs to do that. Like, they need to go in the open world and make traversal the most fun fucking thing imaginable. That's what makes Ultimate Destruction stand out. The combat and the momentum, all of it flows together beautifully in that game. It is just fun as fuck to play. That's what Sonic needs to do, is learn from the... Anyway.
Can you
Which one is it?
imagine? Can you imagine if in Frontiers they actually have like Knuckles do a wind up before he's allowed to glide? Just like, all right, I'm very angry at the air today. Now I can be airborne.
Oh, what you
That'd
mean
be
a bit
fucking
like how
wild.
they did it in Minecraft?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God. Oh. No, but good this time.
Yuck. Suris, you're
The-
up with a
The next
our
one,
NFT boy.
the next one is from Letteric as well. 5 burned down Amazon rainforest from NFT production. And I just remembered what I actually wanted to ask. Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited. Opinions on that?
That's basically what the Origins version should be.
I think it's good for somebody who's already played through Sonic 3 and Knuckles. There's a lot of customization in there. I don't like the achievements. I think they're a bit too bulbous and distracting. But I like the general idea, but otherwise it's really good. Yeah. It's the quality of life improvements we need to expect from Origins. And if it doesn't top that, then why would we even buy it?
Right now, it's also the only widescreen version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles we have.
A couple other ones that have done mods, but it's definitely the best of the mods so far.
Yeah. What about you two?
Yeah, you guys have any opinions?
I have never heard of this thing until right now.
Yeah, I have never.
It's worth checking out.
You guys have never
Um,
played Sonic 3 Air?
I don't know what that is.
It's a fan-made recreation of Sonic 3 and Knuckles in widescreen, and it's basically kind of emulates the whole sort of Whitehead port thing, but for Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh,
And it's got
okay.
some extra customization features that you wouldn't necessarily find in the official release. So in some ways, it could be even better.
Yeah, and they do really, like, even small little things. It's just really cute. Like they, for Tails' plane, or sorry, Sonic's plane, if it's going a certain direction, Sonic's aim's flipped the wrong way, so they fixed that. And like, each level introduction has that goofy palm tree as part of the design there, and they're like, well, that only makes sense for the first level. So they have like custom little extra designs for just small little things like that. It's a really cute thing. And they do stuff like with like the debug. Like, oh, well, we can do what the game was originally meant to do and put flying battery at a different point here, or add new transitions. A lot of fun little things. It's really cute. So yeah, if you haven't played it, you should. And Wayne, if you're going to review that game on your channel, you're going to be bombarded by people asking why you haven't touched that or even mention it. So just a heads up there.
Like when I get to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or
Yeah, no, you're everybody and their mother is going to ask you why you haven't touched that mod. I promise you.
okay, yeah, I will. I'll be sure to take a look at it then.
I think it's more than just a mod, even. I think it is from the ground up rebuilt.
No, it's a mod. You need the
Okay.
original. You need the mod of Sonic 3 and Knuckles to have it run. So they even went to the trouble to say, like, you can officially support Sega by buying the Steam version, because you'll need the Steam version for this to run.
What
or I guess
absolute
technically any
champs.
ROM, but you have the ability to support Sega if you want.
What a bunch of absolute champs.
Yeah, it's really special.
Right, Wallace, you're up.
All right, so Mr. SP with $10. I got Sonic and Knuckles in Christmas of 1994. Good year. I played at that. I played as that shiny new red guy and got to Sandopolis Zone before I had to go home. It was the best Christmas ever.
That is a good point. Holy shit. I mean, we've been talking back and forth about the save stuff this whole time. I kind of forgot, being only an owner of Sonic and Knuckles and not Sonic 3, just how limited I was able to be with that game, just because I didn't have a save file. So every time I did go explore that game, I had to do it in one go every single fucking time.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that even, like...
Yeah, I just mean in personal experience. Yeah, that played a lot into why it was so fragmented for me, even as a kid.
These are the memories of having to leave your console on for days at a time.
Jesus Christ,
Just to
man.
make sure that it didn't turn off and you didn't lose your progress.
I'm amazed my SNES and Genesis still work. I've got like 3 regular NESs, none of them work. Fuck that machine. Anyway.
Well, that's everything, guys. That's the train departed from the Sunset City. So I did the intro. I guess I have to do the outro now, don't I? Wowee, what a big old game that was, huh? Oh, a podcast so great we had to split it in 2, and then eventually I'll make a lock-on version which will literally put the 2 together. How epic would that be?
We'll be in
right,
hyperforms the whole time. It'll just be seizure-inducing colors.
We
Less
didn't
processing.
we didn't talk about the hyperform, did
Wait,
we?
which one of us gets the flickies?
But we didn't talk about the hyperforms.
I guess Wayne.
Wayne gets
Give it to Wayne.
flickies. Okay.
Wayne gets flickies.
There. Now we've
You
talked
can-
about
if you-
hyperforms.
If you want to talk about the hyperforms, you can watch Nick's video on the hyperform, like why hypersonic matters. Like that'll cover all bases there, because I cannot be fucked to talk about any more of this fucking game.
It's really cool. It's hard to get.
It's a good, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So as we play out today's episode, Nick, what are you up to these days?
I've been a little bit slow on my uploads. I've got a video going up just talking about this green chair. Ewan sent me another one, so I'm gonna put that up a little bit later today, but I'm gonna immediately get back to work on a couple of speed reading episodes, because they're a little bit easier for me to make, and I got a couple of big marathons coming up pretty soon, so stay tuned for that.
Are you
Game
going to tell the
Apologist.
folks at home about your little microphone situation as well with the gaming chair?
Yeah, so I spent all morning before we started this episode. We've been trying to figure out why my mic sounded so muted, and I reset the computer. I did all these other things. It was just turned around, and I recorded the entire video with it turned around. So we're gonna see how it sounds, because otherwise I'm gonna have to. It's not a long video. It's gonna be like 4 or 5 minutes long. I might just have to re-record it and be like, I'm gonna talk about this chair a little bit more. God damn it. Oh yeah, Femred's asking about the shade video again. Yeah, so Suris and I are gonna probably live stream hopefully soon to talk about we'll actually go over legal documents with the Ken Penders case. I'll be honest with you guys, like I feel like it's important that I read through Archie again first, and I play through Chronicles again before I talk about Shade specifically. I don't like talking out of my ass with this stuff. I like doing my research, so it'll be a while, but it'll be worth it, I promise.
Suris, what's up with you? What are you doing?
I think tomorrow I'm actually going to be talking about something that made me a little upset. I'm not sure if there's anybody in this audience that plays Magic the Gathering at all, but I'm going to be making a video about the ban list we just got for the Magic card game. And it was a multi-tiered ban list. We got one for standard and modern and a bunch of other formats. And for some reason, the most competitive format of the entire bunch received no changes whatsoever. And I feel as though that's a corporate thing, and I'm not super thrilled about that. So I'll be making a whole video about that for anybody who actually gives a shit about Magic the Gathering. So that's me.
Me? What are you going to be doing?
All right, so later today, I'm actually going to be streaming Pokemon Legends Arceus, just trying it out. I also have a review of Digimon Worlds for the PS1 on the way. I just did a video about Hulk Ultimate Destruction last week, and later this weekend, I should be getting up a video that compiles together all of my Metroid Month reviews from last October. So I've got some things happening on the channel.
Pretty epic. And if you want to know what I'm getting up to, tonight after this, I'll actually be streaming the Series 1 finale of Batman the Telltale series. So if you want to see what would happen if I ever became Batman, that's the video to check out. And I've also just had more regular business as usual uploads on my own channel. You know, you can see videos about Spider-Man and Sonic and Batman and all that good stuff. So that's me. Any last requests, words, boys? Anything further?
I gotta take a mean old grumper.
I also need to poo. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna go
Alright.
play card games.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Goodbye. Yeah.